Well, I went to happy hour, man. I was like, happy hour, you know, long work week. Let me have a couple drinks.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I was like, margaritas. Oh man, that's shit. I spent like $50 on margaritas.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that, man. It's great,
Yeah.
great way to end the week. I wish I could get a chance to do that, man. Run around with my damn kids. We had to go get haircuts and
Yeah.
whatnot. You know what I mean? Get fresh for the weekend.
Yeah.
You know, all that takes up my extra time. So you tip one back for me. You know what I mean? So keep doing your thing.
Yeah, no, man. Just I don't get to do it a lot, but when I do, I do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
how it goes, man.
yeah. So yeah, so we're live. What's up, everyone? Welcome to welcome to a special edition of Brap. We
Yeah,
had to
man.
postpone Wednesday because I had some sick children, and my wife was sick, so I had to help out, you know, and postpone till today. So, but B man, glad you could join us, man. It's good to see you. I think Eric's gonna possibly be joining us later on this evening. We do have two special guests. We have Italian Clowns, and we have Matt from Nolan Nerdcast and SDGC. Matt's actually at a wedding, believe it or not, right now. He's actually he's wrapping up his reception.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude, oh, sorry, because I forgot we're in different time zones. He's like, reception's wrapping up. I'm like, yeah, yeah. Matt's in there for last call.
Oh
Yeah,
man, that's crazy, man.
yeah, yeah. It's yeah. So B man, let me ask you something, man. So did you pick up Destiny for Xbox yet? Because I know you're talking about getting it.
I'm gonna probably pick it up tomorrow. To be honest, man, I just haven't had time to get out to the store. It's been running around working and going to football practices, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean. It's still been crazy waiting for football season to be over. So not too much time to actually game or get out there and pick up any new games yet. But I'm gonna get out there tomorrow after my son's game at 3. Get out to Best Buy and pick it up. So
Yeah. Hey, by the way, man, big shout out to the Iron Lords Gaming Addict. So I picked up the Xbox version last Friday. I picked it up. I got the digital version of it, and Gaming Addict, like, he ran through the public events with me and leveled me up pretty quick. And then Anchor jumped in, and I think we beat like the last couple of missions in like 25 minutes, man. Did like a quick speed run.
oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So I'm level 20. I'm over light 200, man. Like fast.
that's good stuff, man.
Yeah. So big shout out to those guys. I mean, they really helped me out. Like Attic really helped me out. Like he got me in those public events, man, and that just like really like helped me like level up, man, big time, like fast.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. They got a solid crew over there in Channel 5. You know what I mean? So shout out to those guys, Iron Lord Podcast. You know, they go hard for Destiny. That's where they kind of got the name from. Um, you know what I mean? So I can't wait to jump in there, and get in there with you guys, be able to run some Nightfalls and get in there, play some strikes and whatnot.
Yeah,
Looking
man. Play
forward to
some.
it.
Yeah, like, and they've done the raid a couple times already.
So I can't wait to jump in there. Yeah. That's
Like,
I believe I talked to we were talking to Cognito, and he was saying that they usually get it done the first couple or first day that it drops. So you know what I mean, you get those clan engrams and whatnot. So they put in all the work, we reap all the rewards. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's true, man. It's funny, man, because Anchor joined me. He hopped into a game that I was in. I was running the campaign, so he hopped in, and he's like sitting there chilling. I'm like, dude, come help me, man. I'm like, come on, just come help me. So he helped me, man, and like I said, um, got me through a lot of the pretty much the rest of the campaign, man. It was fast. Like we did a fast speed run, man. It was great. So those guys are great, man. I mean, they're very helpful, man. Like good looking out, man. Like Attic, like has been, like when I'm on Destiny, man, he's like hit me up. So I appreciate it, man. It's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
So, outside of that, outside of Destiny 2, what else are you playing, B? What are you playing right now, man?
I've dabbled in a little bit of Cuphead. Of course, I've been playing 2K. I finally finished the Horizon Zero
Hmm.
Dawn, so I finally finished that campaign up.
Ooh, so what do you think of that, man? Is that is that a game of the year contender for you?
It's definitely in there. You know what I mean? I throw it, that name in the hat. I think it's probably one of the top 5 games I played this year, so it's definitely in there. But we still got a couple more weeks to go before the year is over. But I think it's definitely in there. I think it was a solid experience for what it was. Graphically, it's probably one of the better games we've seen this generation.
Hmm.
Um, the story was kind of predictable as you kind of play along, um, but I thought it was very enjoyable. I mean, the combat was nice. I liked them upgrading the bow. Um, taking out different robots and with your other tools and stuff like that. So it was a pretty good game. I mean, it's definitely a nice change when you look at the developer. I mean, who's primarily put out a first person shooter.
Yeah.
I mean, and to transition to an open world game like that was pretty impressive. So hats off to them. Um, I'm looking forward to see how good this DLC is going to be when that releases. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I mean, it's I think one of the criticisms of that game's that at least that I've seen for that game is that when you're fighting the mechanical dinosaurs or what you want to call them, people say that the game needs like an auto lock feature, and I'm like,
nah, man, I don't need no
nah,
auto lock.
it doesn't need that. I don't think it does. And that's that's why I invested in one of the perks is like slow motion.
Yeah, when you're
Um,
jumping up in the air,
yeah.
when you're pulling your bow back.
Yeah, and it's in
So like,
slow mo, and I'm like, and that's kind of like for me like auto lag, and I like it because it forces you to be a little more strategic,
yeah,
and it slows it down when you can hit those, those I guess pressure points, if you will, you,
right.
where that are highlighting where you can cause the most damage. Like I like that. Like I'm like that's like one of the first like skill sets that like I invested in the game.
Right.
So
Yeah, I mean, I don't like auto lock in pretty much any shooter that I play. Just because I usually like to go for headshots, and then sometimes when you get like auto lock, it doesn't correctly lock on lock on for the headshot. And then what I mean, especially with like this game where you have different pieces and parts that you can knock off the robots. I think it was just easier to kind of pick and choose what you want to knock off, because some of them you could actually use those as weapons against the robot, and it actually would take it down a lot quicker. So I prefer not to have the auto lock on at all.
no, I agree, man. I agree. I think that takes away from the I think it takes away from that. It forces you to kind of be strategic about what weapons you bring in, how you approach each different enemy, and
Yeah,
I think that adds a deeper dynamic to the game than just having auto lock. Auto lock would just for me would just take away from that. Like it'd just be too easy.
yeah. I definitely agree with that, man. I don't really like to dumb down games. You know what I mean? Especially like a shooter, because I think that's where you kind of show off your skills. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And if you have auto lock, then how can you say that you're good at the game? You know what I mean? One of the bigger robots that was in the game is like when you have to go into that, like it's almost like a coliseum. I forget the
Yeah,
name of it. I think it's maybe a digger or something like that.
it is a digger. I think. Yeah,
Yeah. But like for the
you gotta
longest
run.
time, I was like struggling hardcore. You know what I mean? Because that thing pops up out of the ground and will jump right on top of you. So I had to go back and kind of level up a little bit. Um, but when you get in there, and you finally defeat it. You know what I mean? You feel some accomplishment. You know what I mean? Because you put in the work to knock down that big robot. So I think anytime you have auto lock, it kind of dumbs down the experience, and you don't really have that same feeling. So
No, man, I agree 110%, man. Like that one particular boss battle. Um, it's yeah, when you beat that, and you have such a sense of accomplishment, and it adds to like you said, like it just kind of tests your skills.
Right, right,
Yeah, and it challenges you, and that's like the beauty of video games. Like I think that sometimes we could be. I think because I've gotten used to necessarily not being or not being challenged all the time, that we expect that for a lot of games, and like it's nice to have that variety. Like I want to be challenged, like like Cuphead. Like I picked up Cuphead, and Cuphead. I haven't gone back to it because I know I'm gonna have to like put in some work.
right, right.
But even when I play like the 35 minutes that I put into that game, it felt like even that it felt somewhat rewarding to me because I'm like, damn, like this is good. Like I got to think about stuff,
Right,
It's not
right.
about like collecting loot boxes or getting engrams. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like those things are gonna happen, right?
Yep.
But with Cuphead, it's a different story. It's like it took me back to a different place in gaming, like back in the NES days. Where you were playing like games like Ghosts and Goblins or
Yeah.
Contra. You know, where if you didn't pass a certain level, you had to start from the beginning.
Yep. Go ahead back to that press start screen.
Oh, dude, that's brutal. But that's how I grew up gaming. Like, you remember taking like turns with your friends. You don't want
Oh
to give up
yeah.
the controller, and they would look at you. They would be like, "Hey, Tom, give up that controller. Let me try." You're like, "No, no, I
Yeah,
got it, I got
yeah,
it."
yeah, one more time, man. Let me try one more time. So, yeah, man, I love those days though. I think those are probably some of the best times in gaming. You know what I mean? Because you're sitting on your friend's couch or in their bedroom or whatever. You're taking turns, and you know, most of the games weren't great games back then, but they felt more difficult. So what I mean, once you finally beat it, you going crazy. You know what I mean? Got your PJs on and your dusty socks. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And you finally beat a game, man. You felt so accomplished. You know what I mean? So
I mean, I remember playing Metroid,
yeah,
and it's crazy. Like I've said this. I've said this you know with um with Metroid. Like it's one of those rare games where I remember beating it, and literally at the end, if you remember Metroid, after you beat Mother Brain, you have to like escape, and there's a timer, and there's like the last part's like a little platforming like thing where you're jumping from you know platform to platform to escape. And I remember after beating Mother Brain, like that was so challenging. When you beat Mother Brain, you're like, okay, the game's over.
yeah,
And you walk in the door, it's like, nope, there's a timer. We got you. And you were literally, I mean, like your adrenaline was like pumping so high, like to beat Mother Brain, that you were literally shaking at the end. And I remember, like, I was shaking, my friends' hands were shaking. We were all shaking, like to escape.
yeah,
And so like that's like those kind of gaming experiences, like that's what I grew up on. And so when I play games like Cuphead, like that reminds me of like those experiences. And to me, like it's such a welcome experience because we don't have that all the time.
right, right.
Yeah. Real quick, be clown Italian clowns to join us. What's up, clowns?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's happening?
Not much,
Not too
man. Good to
much.
have you back on, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Glad to take this opportunity to be on here with you guys.
No, absolutely. Hey, clowns, I just want to say I love your beard, man.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's
Uh,
been about a year.
Dude, seriously, that thing is I'm envious of it because I can't grow a beard like that. I just can't. It just doesn't work for me.
I have a hard time keeping up with like shaping it. It just keeps growing, and it's starting to grow out now, like like wild on the sides.
Yeah, that's too funny, man. No, I mean, it looks like you're keeping up with it, man. I was watching the Four Guys with a Quarter podcast, this week's show, and I saw you were on the camera this week, and I'm like, you got it like nice and trim, man. Like it doesn't look like too crazy.
I think it's because I used beard balm in it, and I like try to shape it down, even though you're not supposed to do that. I did it anyway.
Nice, nice.
I gotta get some of that beard balm, man. A lot of people have been saying it's pretty good. It helps soften up the facial hair, man.
Oh yeah, I mean that stuff is good. That or the beard oils, anything to keep it like lubricated and soft.
Right.
Lubricated and soft. All right. So this is a family podcast. Just want to throw that out there in case anyone's wondering. So, hey, Eric, what's going on, man?
Like a well-groomed gamer.
E. Jackson is in the building, man. What's going on, man?
What's going on?
Hey, Eric, I just want to say something to you.
I know what you're going to say.
Quick, man. I just want to say something to you real quick, man. You don't know Baby D.
That's why you talking like that, because you don't know Baby D.
That's why you don't know Baby D. Oh, Stanley. I'll tell you, I think Eric and I think we just like, when we talk, we just like trade like Friday quotes.
Oh,
That's pretty much our conversation. Yeah. I call Eric on his phone. Eric pick up and say, hello. I'm like, E, you better put some water on that damn shit.
Oh, man. That's too funny, man.
Oh, my goodness. I think they're making another Friday.
I've been hearing that for a while, man. Like they were saying that Chris Tucker and Q might be getting back together for one.
No, I think so. I think that's actually a thing that's happening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Just
I
like
hope so,
to
man.
America too.
I hope there's no Coming to America 2.
Yeah, I think there is, man.
I feel like that's like one of those movies. Like if it comes out, it just won't be as good as the first one.
Yeah. Some classics you just can't mess with, man. Sometimes you gotta leave them out there.
Exactly.
Yeah, remember what they did with The Godfather? Remember the fourth Godfather came out?
There's a
It
fourth
was
one?
good.
There's a fourth Godfather? I know
I'm
three
sorry,
wasn't.
I'm sorry,
wasn't great.
three. I'm sorry, three. I'm sorry, I'd say fourth. Three, yeah. Like it wasn't that good.
Well, I mean, a fourth Godfather could be on the table nowadays, It's kind of like that's not a real possibility,
I mean, I wish they would just remaster movies like they do games, man.
Yeah.
Well, they're doing it. And Blade Runner just came out. It's kind of like a remaster.
They're gonna do a Goodfellas prequel where it deals with
Yes.
Paulie.
Yes, absolutely.
You said Goodfellas prequel? Yeah.
So, yeah, man. Hey, Clowns, what's going on, man?
Not too much. The same old stuff, gaming.
There you go, man. Good to have you on, bro.
Yeah, definitely. Appreciate being here.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing like a Goodfellas like prequel or a sequel to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the sequel though would be like them in jail,
Yeah.
Well, they would probably get out of jail at this point. Well, I mean, pretty much. I mean, well, not to spoil it for anyone. You know what? I'm going to spoil it. If you haven't seen Goodfellas yet, came out in like 1990.
Yeah.
Are we past the statute?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're past yeah. I mean, Joe Pesci's dead. We know that. Ray Liotta ratted. He's living a posh life right now. He's
You ordered up what do you say? Pasta marinara. You got spaghetti and egg noodles.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah.
No, yeah, ketchup and egg noodles.
Ketchup and egg noodles. Yeah.
That's great, man.
By the way, guys, I apologize if you can hear my dog barking. She's being very loud tonight.
Mm.
Yeah. So real quick, guys, let's jump into this like loot crates thing because like this is like something I've been seeing on Twitter a little bit, and like I mean, apparently like there's even a petition out there to like stop developers from putting in loot crates because it can lead to, and I think Clowns, I think we kind of talked about this a little bit on Twitter. It can lead to like gambling.
Yeah, I think that's where it's headed. I think it's addictive like gambling. I don't know, if it's a 1-to-1 comparison. I think it's similar in the way that it's random, like a lottery ticket would be. I think loot crates are okay in games for most people, but I think it does need some regulation, especially because of kids and children. And I think, kids today are a lot smarter than they used to be, at least with technology. So even putting restrictions on this kind of stuff or on the accounts, a lot of kids find ways to bypass it.
Yeah, I just. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I think you're right. I don't think it's like a 1-to-1 comparison, but I mean, I don't know. I guess I could see that. I guess the youth of these days. You know, I'm much older, so I didn't grow up with. You know, we didn't have internet when I was a teenager. Not until I was 18. And we certainly didn't have like Xbox Live or anything like that, or Loot Crates or whatnot. We didn't have access to social media the way that kids do now. I don't know. I can kind of see that, like getting like hooked on like the idea of maybe spending money to get like better things like weapons or whatnot. I'm not gonna lie. Like with Battlefield, when Battlefield came out, and you can hit certain milestones to unlock certain things. I'm not gonna lie. When they said, "Hey, you know what? For $10 or whatever, I don't know how much it was at the time for Battlefield 4. If you have the, whatever class you're working with, for whatever $5 or $10, you can just completely unlock that character class without working for, without grinding it out to unlock, some of the perks and extra weapons you get with that character class. I'm not gonna lie. Like I did that because I was trying to.
The problem.
Yeah, you started it, man.
you opened the door.
But it never got it never got crazy, like to the point where I was spending hundreds of dollars or anything like that.
Well, I mean, think about this though. Like, okay, so you said when you were a kid that you didn't really have internet and stuff like that, right? And I remember growing up, in the 80s, I didn't have internet either, and I got addicted to buying like those baseball cards, looking like for some rare players sometimes.
Yes.
Hockey cards.
Hops.
I got addicted. The Looney Tunes cards, like I wanted the foil. The Marvel cards, I wanted the foil cards on those.
I had the Marvel cards too. Yep.
Garbage Pail Kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't. I can't say I spent $100 on Loot Crates and games, but I could tell you this: I spent more than $200 on box of cards at 7-Eleven and going to like comic book conventions trying to get all these foil cards.
Yeah. Then also growing up 80s, you also remember those like 976 numbers. They'd be like ranging from anything to like chicks down to like calling for the joke of the day type stuff.
Oh yeah.
They're like yeah, I got in trouble calling like those joke lines and stuff. I ran out my grandparents' phone bill like crazy.
I remember Miss Cleo called me.
Yeah, it's like 99 cents a call or something like that, and yeah, before you know it. So,
I mean,
it's a slippery slope, man.
I mean, but is that the same thing though? Like, is collecting cards the same thing as like paying for Loot Crates though? I mean,
when you think about it, that's where it started. You know what I mean? Like, this whole Loot Crate phenomenon started with EA. You know what I mean? They started this with their sports games. The whole collecting cards things, they just made it virtual. That's all they did. You go play MUT. You know what I mean? You want to get the Jerry Rice card. If you ain't grinding for it, guess what? $5.99. you can get some random packs, and maybe Jerry Rice will be in there.
Right.
Maybe they'll have some random, linemen from the 49ers of that era. You don't know what you're gonna get, but you can continue paying that money until you get Jerry Rice, or you get Randy Moss, or you get, whatever player that you're looking for. But EA started this whole nonsense, and it carried on to 2K. 2K does the same thing. If you want Magic Johnson when he was in his prime, guess what? You can grind to get the pack, and maybe you'll get it. But guess what? You could spend $20 and you can open up a bunch of packs, and you're probably going to get them.
Right.
So that's where this whole thing started from, and just more and more developers have seen the revenue that it generates, and they adopted it.
Mm-hmm. Or they saw it in mobile games, like Farmville, Candy Crush.
Yeah.
Games like that.
Yep.
But those are mobile games, though. I mean, like
But it's still cash. The money. I mean, the model is still, translate. But think about how many parents, got rude awakenings when they got phone bills, or they gave their kid like a 5 tablet, and they're like, "What the hell?"
Wait, Clowns was laughing like that might have happened to him.
Well,
there was a lawsuit around that, wasn't there?
Yeah, with those 900 numbers, yeah, because kids were able to access them pretty readily available.
Yeah.
I mean, there was even tricks of doing the 900 numbers on the payphones, and then the payphone provider would end up with the bill. So yeah, they started cracking down on that stuff. Yeah, but like, I mean, it's all about the instant gratification, right? That's what it is. We want that instant gratification. We don't want to. A lot of people don't like the grind or spending hours on something. They just want to get it immediately, and loot crates provide that opportunity for many people that don't have the time to sit there. Like, I remember when Farmville came out, if you were working 40 hours a week and you wanted your Farmville character to like get all the plants and everything or whatnot, I mean, you had to log back in like every 15 minutes and keep doing the repetitive tasks over and over, or you could buy Zynga cards and just, you know, fast track it.
Right.
So and kids get addicted to that stuff. I mean, like if my daughter's playing with her friends and maybe one of her friends had time to grind on the weekend to, I don't know, level 20 in Battlefront 2, she's going to be like, oh man, I wish I could be level 20 just like them. So, Dad, can I go spend like, you know, $30 on loot crates? Well, absolutely not. But, you know, it's there because kids want to be competitive like that.
Right. So now is the issue that it's now infiltrated more into single player games? Because like we said, we had it in sports games, we've had it in, you know, multiplayer games. Because like all of a sudden now it's like, you know.
Yeah, now everybody wants to grab the pitchforks. You know what I mean? Start the riot. No more loot boxes. No more loot boxes. Yeah, this is going on.
And that's what confused me. Be like, I've seen like more recently, like there's been more outrage about this, but like loot crates aren't new.
No, they're not.
What's like? Where's this outrage coming from? Is it that, you know, that people have nothing to argue about when it comes to video games now? Like, you know, that they just like they're focusing on loot crates now.
Right.
Like it's.
Well, let's give credit to the people who probably always were pissed about this. You know, they've been sticking to their guns. And then let's weed them out of the other 85, 90% who just love to jump on something.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know? And shout out to the people that started the petition. At least that's action, because what sense does it make to go back and forth on Twitter with the same people arguing and trying to make a point? I can't control your loot box, so you can yell at me all day. I can't change it.
Right.
But I've seen like.
I was going to say, at the end of the day, no matter how many people complain, it's all about capitalism. I mean, gaming companies are there to make money. They provide a service because
exactly, bro.
They expect to be paid, and whatever they can do to make money, they're going to do it regardless of how people feel about it. The only people that can actually do anything would be politicians, right? And the ESRB said that they're not going to regulate on the federal level across games. So, I mean, people can complain to, like, you know, their state politicians and ask states to impose some type of gambling restrictions on video games. But is that really going to solve the issue of game companies finding ways to make new revenue? Probably not.
But is this really gambling though? Like I've heard this, like I've heard this a couple times, or I've seen it, you know, where people are like, oh, it's like gambling, but is it really? Like I don't see this as gambling.
I think it's, you know, it's close to gambling. You're right in a sense. It's not really gambling because you're still getting something for your money, right? Like, I mean, even if it sucks, you're still getting something in return. With a lottery ticket, there's no guarantee you're going to get anything on a lottery ticket except the, you know, wasteful piece of paper that you just scratched off and threw away. So if loot crates give you something, yeah, so there's a little bit of value to it digitally, but I think it's close. I think it's very, very close.
Yeah, it taps into that addictive side of you, especially if you have that kind of, like, you know, addictive mindset. It can tap into that because if you go in and you don't get what you want, you know, you want to hit it, you know, you want to take another roll. So it can have that precedent. And it is a gamble because, I mean, you don't know what's in it, you know, so that is the gamble part of it. But is it like pulling the slot machine? No.
Yeah. You know, like Chicken mentioned in the comments, he was talking about, you know, picking up Pokemon cards back in the day. You know what I mean? You might be looking for that Charizard, but maybe you don't get the Charizard. You know what I mean? You keep trying to open up those platinum packs to find, you know what I mean, that rare Pokemon. So
one more pack, just one more pack. You know,
but the difference is you weren't making like a $60 or initially we're making like a $60 investment, and then, you know, buying the pack. You know what I mean? Like you weren't like.
Yeah, but see, the thing is like
they weren't $60 Pokemon packs, and then you were, on top of that, buying other packs.
Yeah, but the thing is you don't have to buy the packs. You know what I mean? None of these games are forcing you to buy loot packs. You can grind all you want to. The loot pack or the loot box is just an option.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then are people also confusing like the loot box, like with the microtransaction, the things that are kind of locked behind, like cosmetics and skins and things like that? Because the only thing I've ever kind of said was like, as long as content is not completely locked away, or there's artificial grind, to actually get the true endings of something or whatever, something that's luring people into wanting to buy into the microtransaction or whatever the case may be. Because you do have people that just don't have the patience. They're like, look, I'm just going to pay to get whatever I can and just keep moving. And then you have people who actually want to put their time into the game. So if that line gets blurred to where, you're being lured into it, or you're kind of like being forced because something's locked away, then that would be bull.
That's something I want to touch on real quick, because I know one of the biggest games that people were complaining about was Shadow of War. And initially I was, complaining about it because I didn't like the idea that if, somebody could beat me if I grinded the game and I just, pay to advance so quickly. But after playing the game, I mean, I could basically grind out everything and get silver coins and buy silver loot boxes with those silver coins, just from playing missions, right? Like not spending money. So you can still get loot crates by playing the game.
Okay.
And certain missions you get gold, which you can buy gold loot boxes with. Now, with Shadow of War, as testing for journalistic purposes, I bought like $15 worth of loot crates to see what would happen. And I got instant overpower stuff. Like, I mean, I was out the gate way more powerful than I should have been. And I had
like OP automatically.
Yeah, OP automatically, legendary and epic gear. And I had legendary and epic orcs. Like I had like 30 already, an army of 30.
Jesus.
And I couldn't even use them yet. Like I still had to go like 4 hours in game before I could use them.
Wow.
Jeez.
So as soon as I was able to use them, I was popping like 2 or 3 achievements just from that. So I saved myself achievement time as well. So, I mean, they make it easy to want to spend if you're achievement hunting or to advance. But I mean, you could still do everything just by
that's
grinding.
Because like, what if they start hiding achievements behind loot packs or loot boxes?
Well, that's Assassin brought that up in the party chat, and he's like, it wouldn't surprise him. For example, upgrading one of my legendary gear, I got an achievement for, right? Well, I was able to do that in Act 1 in the first 20 minutes of the game.
And was that a rare achievement?
At the time it was. I don't think it is anymore. I think once people get to Act 2, you can start doing it, but I was able to do it like in 15 minutes of Act 1.
See, that's the thing that worries me. Like, the one thing that I think about is, like, obviously there's people out there that are trophy hunters and achievement hunters. What if the developers start playing on that? Like, hey, you know what? We're going to start hiding these achievements or these trophies behind loot boxes or loot crates. Like, that wouldn't sit well with me, personally.
I mean, it's very possible. I mean, I don't even know about the achievements in Madden in the Madden Ultimate Team, but I wouldn't be surprised if buying your way up, you can get 1 or 2 achievements very quickly.
Yeah. And I've heard the argument out there, like where people are like, oh, well, development costs are rising, and games haven't increased, they're still $60, and I'm like, yeah, but is that? I mean, is this the way to go? I mean, I legitimately have some concerns. Like, I don't think we're at the point right now where they're overly like it's abusive. I don't think we're there just yet, but I'm concerned that they keep pushing that envelope to see how far they can go. And that's my concern. Like, I don't want to be in a situation where, it's a pay to win, or it's a pay to move forward in the story or advance. I don't want to see get like that. Like, I go back to my whole Battlefield thing. It was like, I think it was like $10. Like, I'm okay with that. personally, I'm okay with that. Some people might not be okay with that, but I was.
I'm not okay with you doing that. I'm triggered by it.
Am I a corporate slave now?
Even though we talk about the loot crates and achievements and everything being tied to, if you think about it, going back further back in the day, like pre-order bonuses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They had pre-order bonuses. That was kind of locked behind just the pre-orders by themselves, and they gave you like in-game items that made your character a little bit more OP. So I mean, it's going to keep happening. They're just going to evolve it differently. And I was talking to Matt Piscatello from the MPD group on Twitter before, and he mentioned that this has nothing to do with the rising cost of games or what people are assuming. Loot crates have been around before, the cost started increasing, and they're doing it just because there's a market there and people buy it.
Yeah, I think that's 110% correct. I mean, I think there's clearly a market there. I mean, I just admitted. I mean, with Battlefield 4, I was buying loot crates to unlock everything for a specific character class that I was playing with, because I didn't want to spend the time, to kind of grind it out, because I didn't have time. But yeah, he's absolutely right. I mean, there's definitely a market for that. I mean, I guess, again, my concern is, when does it go too far, and is it going to go too far? I just feel like this is something that people should kind of,
let's be real.
keep an eye on.
Let's be real. We always have in the generation something that kind of does this, like Clowns just mentioned, pre-order bonuses. That kind of faded a little bit as digital became more prominent.
It's true.
But you remember when we first started getting like DLC, people were like, wait, what? And it's like, you can buy horse armor and all this other stuff. And then it became the season pass. Remember, you used to be up in arms about season passes, because you used to kind of get all that content, in the game, like by playing it or whatever the case may be, or and then it became, well, we're going to hold that behind the season pass. If you want to get that extra content, you can pay us another fee on top of it. That didn't go over very well when it first started.
But now, like, every game has a season pass, right?
Because companies are always trying to figure out a way to monetize outside of just charging you for the game, because that's part of business. And that's why I said, I was kind of saying, like, that's why people need to get over this idea that if these companies and devs and everything are your friend because they retweet you. Yeah. Take that personal side out of it. Remember, it is a business. It may not be something that you agree with or cool with, but remember, all of this is a business.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're definitely right. It's all about, and that's the reason why companies are so good to people on social media, is because they're fans of the company, and the company knows this, and they want to create great customer service and repetition and sales. So they're going to be as nice as they can.
Exactly.
That's their job. That's what they get paid to do.
Right. And it doesn't mean that it's 100% artificial, but part of it is still, all of it still kind of feeds back into the business. You catch more flies with honey.
Yep. No,
at
absolutely.
the same time, you can't be bummed out if they're like, hey, yeah, we're going to charge for this and do this and this and that. Like, oh, you're the worst. That's not the company that I know. It's like, well, it's still a business.
It's just like, I mean, in a sense, what you're saying is it's just like going to a restaurant, right? If you have a really good waiter that's very personable, you're probably going to go back there again. But if you have a waiter that just doesn't care to talk to you and just drops your stuff off, and it's like giving you, the ugly face or the you're not going to want to go back there.
Right.
That's true. That's a good point. Hey, Clowns, let me ask you something, man. What do you think? And this is kind of totally off topic, but I'm thinking about, like, as I think about gouging and stuff, I'm thinking about net neutrality. What are your thoughts about this, man?
See, I am for net neutrality. Like, I don't like this anti-net neutrality movement all of a sudden the politicians are trying to push. I think it's bad in general, because a lot of European companies already have really super fast internet, and some of them might be a little bit more expensive than us. Some of them are cheaper than us, but
we're actually behind, by the way. I think in terms of speeds.
In a lot, yeah, we're behind on a lot. But it just seems like, what's his name? Oh, I can't remember his name. He's in charge of the
FCC.
Yeah. And he's a former Verizon corporate employee, lawyer.
Yeah.
It just seems like he has too much interest involved in breaking away net neutrality so that companies can charge more. Because Comcast and Time Warner and Spectrum in different regions have data caps, and they especially in rural areas, impose those data caps. They charge you for going over an overage, which is ridiculous, right? Well, you take away net neutrality, companies have like open arms to do this to everybody across the nation. There's nothing regulating them.
And like okay, so I play devil's advocate. Like I kind of understand like the business thought behind this, like the money aspect. Like we can charge consumers and we can charge companies. You know, and it means more money for us. Like I get that, but that doesn't mean that it's right either. Like I don't think it's right. I don't think passing the buck on to the consumer is necessarily good either. And I think that when you have companies like Comcast who owns NBC and a shitload of content, right? Like and like I think you mentioned Time Warner. Sorry, my dog's barking. Time Warner owns a lot of content. I mean, there's something to be said. I mean, they could throttle like companies like Netflix and give themselves a competitive advantage.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah, so that you would and kind of force the consumer to watch things that, you know, like as we thinking about like, you know, streaming now. A lot of people are streaming now. A lot of people are cutting the cord from cable. So these companies that have content, like a Time Warner, who provides cable, you know, these companies can kind of really kind of just, you know, kind of, for lack of a better word, kind of fuck the competition by throttling them or making them pay more money so they get good speeds to provide to their customers. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that's the idea behind it. That's yeah,
they could fuck Netflix, you know?
Yeah, because then Netflix would have to pay, like even for gamers, right? If you look at it from a gamer perspective, Microsoft, like Xbox Live, would probably have to pay to be like in a fast lane on the internet. Otherwise, when you're downloading games, it's going to go super slow. And then on your end, you're probably going to have to pay to be in a gaming tier with your ISP provider.
Yeah, and I could totally see Comcast or Verizon saying, "Oh, we got the gamer package or the hardcore gamer package," you know, and it's going to cost you this much money. Like I could totally see that. And then Microsoft having to pay, like you said, clowns, like paying to be in a fast lane, and they're going to pass the cost on to us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had Time Warner for a little bit, and they actually have data caps in Ohio, and I had it for like 6 weeks until I realized like what was going on, because they kept sending me these alerts like, "Oh, you went over your data, and this is the first time I ever had internet provider that had a data cap. So they finally sent me the bill, and it was like $1,100.
Damn.
I was like, whoa, what the hell is going on here? So I called in, and they're like, oh, well, you're going over your data. Like your data cap was only 250 gigs, and you know, of course, I'm digital. I got multi consoles. You know, my kids have consoles. We stream, you know, Netflix, Hulu, and they're like, you know, every time you go over, we charge you another $50. I was just like, what? You know what I mean? So, you know, we had went over like 8 or 9 times or whatever, and then all the, you know, the janky fees that they add on to it, it was like $1,100. I immediately canceled the service and did some research, and then found out that like 4 out of the 6 internet providers in Ohio actually have data caps now. So I actually picked up one that doesn't have one. And we're pretty good right now, but it was pretty shitty to learn.
Yeah, that's real shitty.
Jeez. That's crazy, man.
But that's the precedence that can be set up.
It's very scary because we're supposed to be moving forward, but we're going backwards. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't even realize there was a data cap, probably because every other ISP you had didn't have data caps, and all of a sudden you get a service and there's data caps.
Right. And they didn't even explain that, you know what I mean, when we signed up.
No, they won't.
You know, they're just like, oh, you know, you get this internet package, you know, it has, you know, 60 megabytes download speed, like 4 megabytes up or whatever it was. And, you know, they didn't explain anything about data caps, didn't mention it at all. They didn't say anything on their website, because I'm like, you know, going to research, like, what the hell is going on? You know, I'm going on their website. It doesn't say anything about data caps, and I didn't find out until I actually talked to the lady. You know what I mean, at the office. So it was crazy, man.
Wow.
Jeez, that's insane. Like, so like this is the kind of stuff like where I wish like gamers would really focus like their anger or emotion on, you know, when they start console warring, because this is the kind of stuff that really could impact us in a bad way. You know, I mean, you think about, you know, how many times we download digital games.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that would end the whole digital game phenomenon right there.
That could destroy their business model. And, you know, very fortunate for us as consumers that we have companies like Google, and we have companies right now, like even like Microsoft, that are for net neutrality because their services rely on net neutrality. Without net neutrality, they would begin charging arm and leg as well. And hopefully by the time that net neutrality is totally disbanded, you know, Microsoft and Google will already have like fiber lines set up everywhere. So, because they wouldn't do that to us. I can tell you that.
No, I know Google's like really against it, and they've, you know, I keep hoping that Google, at least in my neighborhood, I know they've been focused more like in rural areas, but bring, you know, their Google Fiber, because it's apparently like it's if I understand price wise, it's cheaper than what I'm paying. I have FiOS, and you know, you're getting you know, gigabyte speeds. I think, what is it, 1 gig?
Yeah, it's really fast.
Yeah. So I just want, you know, like this is, and I just bring this up, clowns, because, you know, this is, I know this is something like I've seen you tweet about. You know, I've seen tweets from Comcast where they're like, "Oh, we're for net neutrality." I'm like, "Bullshit! No, you're not. Like, are you guys against fast lanes?" I'm like, you know, of course, I asked them that question. They don't respond.
Yeah, I tweeted at them in one of their things too, and I guess it got picked up by a lot of people retweeting, and I didn't realize it's still getting retweeted today. But yeah, like I question them because they don't open themselves up to like throttle checks, data checks, or anything like that. It's all internal monitoring. And you know, I could tell you that when I lived in Pennsylvania, I worked for Comcast for like 6 months, and they wanted to keep me because I was really smart. I'm really smart with technology, and I just didn't want to be there anymore because I felt like they were a dinosaur. Like they were back then. They were already trying to throttle people that were using like and you know, there's legitimate use of torrents, okay, like downloading Linux and stuff like that, and they were already trying to throttle those people even downloading Linux. Like, why would you want to throttle legitimate use? Like, if it's not legitimate and illegal, fine, I understand, but people downloading Linux through like college campuses like MIT and stuff, yeah, they want to throttle them.
I do remember that. Yeah,
so ridiculous.
That's crazy, man.
Wow. Yeah, it just
doesn't surprise me though.
No, I mean it's a money thing. They want to make more money. It's just another way for them to generate revenue. And I feel like, again, this goes back to this is a slippery slope. It's not just going to impact consumers. It's going to impact other companies. It's going to impact people like Netflix. You know, it's going to impact Microsoft and Xbox Live or Sony and PSN, because if they have to pay more money to get good download speeds to get to us, they're going to pass that expense to us.
Absolutely.
You know, so we're going to get screwed. And this is like the one thing, like, you know, I feel like when gamers, like, they just, you know, they focus on like things they shouldn't be focusing on. This is the one thing everyone should just get together and be like, no, we're not, this is not okay.
Like, the last time I saw gamers rally was when they didn't like the ending of Mass Effect 3. I think that was like the last great gamer rally I saw.
I didn't mind the ending of Mass Effect 3. That's just me, but
hey, but we enacted change on that. Gamers United to
well, no,
at the end of a game change.
You're absolutely right though. Like, people should rally behind something like this because it's not just about gamers and not just about data. It's not just about videos and streaming. Think about this too. Like, you know, a lot of people rely on the internet to apply for jobs. They rely on the internet for social programs, like if they're in an unfortunate situation or a disaster or they need assistance from the government through a social program, they have to rely on the internet. because a lot of places took away their, their public, what do you call them, like public centers where you go and apply. You have to do everything online now. So if they start throttling the internet or capping the internet, and government doesn't start paying for fast lanes, what's going to happen? All these people that need social programs are not going to be able to get on at the same time and start applying. It's going to affect everybody.
And now you're creating the haves and have-nots in a digital space.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Yeah.
Yo.
Wow.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Yo.
Mr. John.
man.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's going on, fellas?
John, welcome to BRAP.
Right? I feel like it's been a whole week since I've been here.
Yeah, John, I want to ask you a question. Are you wearing a robe?
I am wearing a robe.
I like it.
You know why I'm wearing a robe?
Why is that?
Hold on. Nope, I can't find any fucks to give.
I thought you were excited about Assassin's Creed, maybe. Maybe there were some robes in Egypt.
Well, I'm actually more excited about The Evil Within 2, which I've been playing marathon for most of the day.
Nice.
Fucking fantastic game. Phenomenal.
Is it much better than the first one?
It is 10 times better than the first one. And I really enjoyed the first one. But this one, for one thing, runs and looks a lot better. I have not seen a single frame drop. Pretty consistent, 30 frames a second. I'm playing it on PS4 Pro. It does not have a Pro patch, but I suspect it'll get one soon. But I mean, I don't even miss it, to be honest with you. The game just looks fucking great.
Really?
It's I'm on chapter 6, and so far, like it doesn't have the really outlandish horror imagery that the first one did. The aesthetic of the game is more of a reminds me more of, and I said this on Twitter, Silent Hill and Alan Wake.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it's really fucking good. I cannot stress this enough. The Evil Within 2 is a phenomenal survival horror game. And that's my forte. That's one of my favorite genres is survival horror. It really gives me like the almost like the Resident Evil 4 vibes.
Nice.
It's good, man. It's fucking good.
Is it scary?
I would say it's there's been some jump scares, but it's more that pervasive atmosphere of tension and kind of not knowing what's around the next corner. That's kind of really what's getting me.
Okay.
I wouldn't call it like pants shittingly terrifying or anything, but I don't think that's the point of the game. The point of the game is to just keep you unsettled. And the creature designs are wonderful. Some of the bosses, I think I've fought 3 bosses so far. There's one. It's this woman, let me rephrase that. It is a woman with other women's legs stitched onto her body, and her head is like a Obscura camera. And she's crawling around on the ceiling. It's very Silent Hill-esque, and that's where the Silent Hill comparisons come in.
Okay.
And she's running around the ceiling and giggling and chasing you, and she's like moaning sexually throughout the whole fight. It is.
Is Harvey Weinstein there?
He's not actually.
I was sorry. It's probably too early for that.
But it's too soon, man. It's too soon.
Too soon.
But very good stuff. And then there's another boss that you fight before the Obscura boss. And you've probably seen this in the trailers, but it is a giant corpse monster made up of a multitude of corpses. It's got a buzzsaw for a hand and 3 women's faces.
Wow.
And she's laughing throughout the whole fight. She's chasing you, and it's so good. It's like the creature, and then there's this ghost that chases you intermittently throughout the game, and she's humming, and she can walk through walls. All the the bosses especially are very. It almost reminds me of a Dark Souls game in the way that they're designed.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's good stuff, man. It's good. It's real good.
How would you compare this to Resident Evil 7?
That's an interesting question. I wouldn't. They are 2 completely different kinds of games. And I don't. So far, I don't like one more than the other. I really love them both. Yeah, I mean, you really can't go wrong with Other One, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, The Evil Within 2, I could not be happier with it so far. And I want to caveat that, of course, I am only on chapter 6. There's like 17 chapters, I believe. Yeah, but yeah, dude, great fucking stuff. Great fucking game.
I mean, it's beginning some pretty decent reviews.
So this up and coming developer has worked on this. They're pretty good, huh?
Oh yeah. No, they're. I mean, it is really reminiscent. I mean, even though Shinji Mikami is not the director of the game, like his fingerprints are all over it.
Mm. Good to hear. Good to hear. I still got to finish the first game, man.
I haven't even played the first one because I don't do the whole horror thing. You guys know that I don't do that.
You don't really need to play the first one in order to enjoy The Evil Within 2. It is very much a standalone game. Obviously, the main character, Sebastian Castellanos, he is.
What's his last name?
Castellanos.
Shut the front door.
Yeah, Castellanos.
That's my last name.
I know. Yeah, Sebastian Castellanos.
We're not related.
He is the main character of the game, and he was the main character of The Evil Within. There are some references to The Evil Within, but. For the most part, it is a standalone game. It's a continuation, sort of that story, but you definitely don't need to. Playing the first one is not required. Gotcha. Besides, there are enough events from the first one that are explained to where you don't really need to worry about it. So
guys, this is crazy. So like this, we're going to talk about like the games that are coming out in October, and this is one of those games. I mean, how great is this month for gaming? I mean,
how great is this year for gaming?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, this year. Obviously, this year's been fucking fantastic. But I mean, this month, it's just amazing.
Hey, I'm sorry, Mickey. I'm sorry. I'm cutting in and out. I didn't mean to cut you off, man. Go ahead.
No, I was saying Evil Within 2. We know about Assassin's Creed Origins, Mario Odyssey. There's so many games coming out. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. Like
the last few months have been insane.
Yeah, and of course you have Cuphead too.
Cuphead dropped.
Finally fucking came out. It's like Cuphead came out, and I thought of that scene from the Titanic when she's like, "It's been 84 years," But I have heard Cuphead is a very, very solid game, and it sold over 1 million copies. So that's fantastic. I am really happy for the developers of Cuphead.
John, you need to play this game.
Seriously, they put a lot. Well, I don't own an Xbox One, so I probably never will.
PC.
I'm not a PC guy. I like to sit on my big ass love sack here. If you guys know what a love sack is, it's like a huge foam beanbag. I like to sit there and move nothing but my thumbs. I don't like sitting in a computer chair and playing a game. I can't. I've tried and I can't do it. Besides, there are so many games out right now, and so many games coming out that I can't make Cuphead a priority, even if I did have an Xbox One. But I am very, very happy the game is doing well. Those guys put their heart and soul into the game, and it deserves all the success that it's getting. What's interesting is that the sales of the game are phenomenal.
Yeah,
phenomenal. I have heard. I know that Gabe quit the game. I can't remember which boss he was at, but he was like, sorry, but I don't have the patience for this. I have heard some people criticize the difficulty. You guys know me; I love difficult games, so it's not a problem for me. But I wanted to get your guys' take on that.
I'll jump in on that. It's difficult, but for me, it's difficult. But it also taps into if you have any form of like OCD about your games. Like you want to get right back in there, and like try again. I haven't gotten to the point where I've been like, screw this game, I'm completely done. Fuck it, I'm plugging in, I'm done. Like I might stop for the night because I feel like maybe I'm getting too tired, maybe I've been at it too long, and then usually the next day I go back and I get past that boss. I'm kind of taking it like a boss or two a night if I can. But it's a phenomenal game. Outside of even just the aesthetic of it, the look of it, the controls are so are really good, really tight, precise. Like you can tell they put a lot of love into this. Like those delays paid off.
Do you feel like if it was just a boss rush game as it was originally intended to be, that it would not have been as impactful?
I think it still would have been, because honestly, like the run and gun parts, I can see why they put them in to kind of get, flesh it out a little bit more. But the strength is definitely in the boss rush parts of it. Because obviously, you don't hear anybody online talking about the running gun portions. Everyone kind of has like that boss that kind of like sticks it to them, which is a really interesting thing to see. One person may breeze past a boss, and the next is like, man, that boss gave me a headache.
I hear a lot of people talk about the dice boss.
Yeah, the dice boss is a big one. Yeah,
right. Which is like close to the end of the game, so you would imagine, yeah. So, but no, I'm liking it. Hoping to finish it. I haven't got to the point yet where I'm done. Like, I get in. No, seriously, I get in there. Like, I get my ass kicked, and then I eventually get past it, and you feel rewarded, and you want to keep pushing forward and see what the next boss kind of offers. And it really is true. It's like if you really pay attention, you can't play it tired. But if you really pay attention, you start to pick up on the pattern.
You do.
Of what's going on. And if you can, usually the error is like yours. It's not because the game was being cheap. It's like your fault. And that's kind of like pushes you to want to go back in again. Like, I know I can do this, type of thing. Yeah,
I mean, it reminds me, like, and I've said this before, it reminds me of games like Ghosts and Goblins or Super Ghouls and Ghosts or Contra. I mean, it's really kind of a throwback to a lot of the games that we grew up playing. That they were unforgiving, where if you were playing with your friends, they challenge you for the controller, especially if you were stuck in a boss. You may not want to give up that controller, to your friend. But I've only played about 40 minutes of the game because I'm addicted to loot crates on Destiny. But it's, for what I played, it's like I like it. I just can't get off my Destiny fix right now. But I can certainly see why people are having or enjoying playing it, because it's definitely one of those games where, like you said, if you make a mistake, the mistake's on you. Mm-hmm. And if you try to get too sexy with things, because I did, you'll pay for it. But it's a throwback to at least what I remember growing up and how video games were at the time. Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of that refreshing aspect of that game, and I'll let you go back to it and try to beat it. But yeah, it was well worth the wait for at least for what I've played so far.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it comes to PS4 one day, because I'm probably not going to buy an Xbox One. But if it doesn't, I'll be fine. But yeah, I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about it, and I am very relieved to see it selling well, especially after all the delays it had.
John, you froze there, man. Did we lose him?
I don't think this stick figure. I don't think this is going to get a sequel. Although I do think that they are going to move on to something else. I think they're going to take their talents and do something other than Cuphead. The reason I say that is not because I don't want to see another Cuphead. Simply, I just don't think that. I mean, this game was in development for what? 5 years. I mean, this game took a long time to cook, and I know that Microsoft doesn't want another 5-year dev cycle. And to be quite honest, right now they, with the lack of first-party titles, Microsoft really can't afford some long-ass fucking dev cycles on their games. I think we can all agree on that. So I think that I would not be surprised to see Microsoft just buy the studio outright and bring them into the fold and have them work on something else with in-house assets. I think that would be the smart play.
I gotta say, I do think that we will see a Cuphead 2, but I agree with you on the dev cycle for sure. I think, Phil and Xbox does not want another 5-year dev cycle. So the game has been a success, and I think maybe with some of the money that they recouped, they'll be able to afford more talent on the next one, so that it's a quicker dev cycle. I think that was the biggest problem, that they were so small initially, and they actually had a higher outside help.
I love seeing developers branch out and try something new. A great example is, and maybe I'm just speaking from my own hopes and dreams, but even if I don't ever get to play it, I love seeing innovation, and I love seeing new ideas and new games. The Last of Us is a great example. Like, everybody knew Naughty Dog for Uncharted, right? Like, yes, they did, fucking Crash Bandicoot, but who gives a shit about that? They were known for Uncharted, and then they completely flipped the script and did a survival horror game that played nothing like Uncharted, and it was revelatory. Imagine taking the assets of Cuphead and making a Super Mario RPG-esque role-playing game.
I mean, I could see that. I think, though, if they were to do an RPG instead of like a platformer, I think it would take them a lot longer, though.
And yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, that's true. I mean, and I agree with you again, and I'll reiterate it. I don't think we're going to see another 5-year dev cycle from them. I don't think Microsoft. I know for a damn fact Phil Spencer does not want that.
Well, the thing is, they don't own the IP though, right?
Yeah, I don't
Microsoft
think
Cuphead.
so.
I think MDHR owns the IP. I think they just have an exclusivity contract with Xbox.
Right.
They got the publishing contract with them. So
yeah. I do think, in the future, if they were to come out with something new, even a Cuphead 2, it's possible that Microsoft may not lock it down, and it might just go multi-plat.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would think with the success that they've had with the game so far. I know they said that there's no, it's not going to PS4. They kind of mentioned that already. But yeah, with the second one, with the success of the IP, would they even be interested? I mean, there's opportunity. Outside of that, unless Microsoft's going to pony up that dough, and they don't seem to be about that life anymore.
I hope they don't. I know a lot of people said Cuphead will never show up on other platforms. I hope that's not true, simply because you guys know my position on third-party exclusivity. Regardless of platform, I don't like it. I don't like it for Spider-Man on PS4, and I don't like it for Cuphead on Xbox. First-party games are a different story. But third-party games, I feel, should be enjoyed by the widest possible audience. So, yeah, I mean, if there is a sequel to Cuphead, or I hope Cuphead itself comes to PS4 because I would like to play it. I'm just not going to go out and buy a console to do it.
Right.
Simply because I've got a Switch, I've got a 3DS, I've got a PS4, I've got more games than I fucking know what to do with right now.
But no extra time. Time doesn't come along.
I don't.
A lot of games on the Switch too. That's what
I don't, and even though I'm not a PC gamer, Enrique is right. I can, if I want to play an Xbox One exclusive, I can get it on PS or on PC and play it there, even though I'm not going to do that. Yeah, I mean, and I hope Spider-Man comes to Xbox One. I really, really do. I really do. I cannot fucking believe Spider-Man is a third-party exclusive. That blows my fucking mind, and not in a good way. Not a good way. It's anti-consumer. It's almost as anti-consumer as not joining the whole crossplay train,
which has been discussed this week. Phil Spencer has been in talks with Sony and doesn't think that that's going to happen.
You got to think of, hey, dude. You got to think about the kids.
Oh, Jesus!
You got to watch out for the kids, man. You got to protect the children. From Minecraft,
yeah, well, that's a terrible excuse from Sony. I mean, when Nintendo's on board, you cannot use the child or the children as an excuse.
Yeah, Nintendo was the Disney video games. I mean, you can't. So yeah, I mean, I think we'll see it someday, simply because I think people are going to scream loud enough. But yeah. I don't know. That is another source of frustration that we don't need to go down the rabbit hole on. Probably, but yeah, you guys know my feeling on anti-consumerism in the game industry. I don't need to mention that.
So
I'm still sad that Bloodborne is locked down on the PS4. I got it, but I'm just sad that it's just on PS4.
I am too. But I will also say that Sony actually owns the IP, so that's kind of a different situation. They're not paying to keep it off of another platform. That is their IP, and From Software developed it for them. Which is it would still be ideal for Bloodborne to be available on PC and Xbox One,
or like Nier Automata.
Yeah, exactly. That's another one where Sony actually owns the IP. So I don't think you'll ever see Nier on another platform. And I empathize with Chicken in chat. He says, I really want Nier Automata to be on Xbox. I would love to see that, because I want people to be able to play as many games as they can. I want games to be experienced by the widest possible audience. But sometimes I guess that's just not in the cards. There's one Quantum Break is a great example. Like that wasn't developed in-house by Microsoft, but they own the IP. So that is never going to come on to a PlayStation platform ever. And it's the same situation with Bloodborne, unfortunately. So not a lot of people actually realize that. Not a lot of people actually realize that Bloodborne is actually owned by Sony. So it is what it is. Like it's just like Demon Souls. The reason that never came to Xbox 360 is because that is a Sony owned IP.
Didn't Sony Japan help work on that game?
Yeah, and I actually and you're right. They did help with some of the development assets on that game. So
yeah, all right.
But I'm with you on the third party, exclusive thing. But in a lot of cases, Sony's got a lot of those just by the default.
What was that? What was it, Eric? I missed that.
A lot of those like third party, what people consider to be like third party exclusives on Sony. Sony didn't actually like pony up for them, or no pun intended, but they're just kind of like default because of the nature of other types of games that they are and whether they would be successful on Xbox. And I know people will say, well, it doesn't matter, it should just be there. It's like that's not how business works.
Well, and you're right. Like some of this is bound by audience, right? Like I mean, I truly believe, and I'm sure clowns would agree with me, that Bloodborne probably would have sold like shit on the Xbox One.
I don't know though, because Dark Souls does well. Yeah,
but Dark Souls sold well, but it did not sell even half of what it sold on the PS3 and the PS4. I mean, it did. I mean, the sales of the Dark Souls series were heavily skewed. Just like Final Fantasy. Like Final Fantasy 15 is available for Xbox One and PS4, but I mean, I think it sold like 75% on the PS4. I mean, that is just that console, for better or worse. I mean, it's a Japanese console, so Japanese games sell better on it. And I know that Phil Spencer has made positive moves into getting more Japanese games on the system, which I think is a good thing, because Japanese games are some of the finest out there, despite what other people would have you believe. But it's just I understand why these games some of these games anyway, are not coming out. Like Persona 5 would sell like shit on the Xbox One. Great game. It would sell like shit on the Xbox One. It just would, because a lot of those sales come from Japan, and I think there's like 5 people in Japan who own an Xbox One. So like the thing just doesn't fucking sell over there, which is a shame because it's a great console. But yeah, there it is. That's why. So
yeah. Well, real quick, I want to transition to Star Wars Battlefront 2.
What the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah, Star Wars Battlefront 2. Did you guys play the beta this weekend? I played it for like an hour, and then my kids took over, so I didn't get the chance to really kind of dig into it. And I know that it's loot crates were brought up with this game. And Clowns, I know you guys talked about this in Four Guys with Quarters on Thursday, and I kind of heard your take on it, and I heard I forget his name now.
Assassin.
Thank you. I heard Assassin's take on it. So I didn't play enough to really kind of give really give an opinion on it. I mean, it looked great. I'm not overly excited for it. Like, it's not one of the. I'm probably not going to pick it up day one, to be honest with you.
It's Star Wars.
It's Star Wars, and it was cool playing like Darth Maul and stuff. But I do think, though, Clowns, I know you guys were debating this on Four Guys, that it might not sell well, but I think it's going to sell well. I think.
Oh no, dude, that game's going to crush.
Yeah, I think it's going to
crush it.
Yeah, I agree with you, John. I think it's going to capitalize on the fact that we get a new Star Wars movie coming out in December.
It's going to sell.
Have Star Wars fever.
It's going to sell more than. It's going to sell more than Destiny. It's going to sell more than Call of Duty.
I'm one of the ones that think it's going to sell. I think what Inferno and Assassin were talking about. I think Assassin thinks it's going to sell well too, but I think what Inferno was looking at was like all the other games coming out at the same time, and what are people going to buy first? Are they going to go like for the Call of Duty, or are they going to go for the Battlefront? And I think in the long run, I think Battlefront 2 is going to sell no matter what. But I just think initially he was looking at sales from the other titles as well at the same time.
Yeah, but I thought he mentioned something about like the maybe the negative press or talk about the loot crates and stuff, and maybe that might hurt its chances of selling well. And I don't see it. It's we got to start. got a big Star Wars movie coming out in December. It's just gonna kind of
this is
ride the coattails of the movie.
So this is anecdotal, I know, Enrique, but I know that my brother, my younger brother, claims to me that he's not going to buy Battlefront because of the loot crate scenario. I don't really believe him, because my little brother is even bigger Star Wars fan than I am, and if you guys could see my desk, there is nothing but fucking Star Wars shit. I mean, look at this shit.
You are not a Star Wars fan, John.
Look at this shit. I mean, come on. You don't spend $500 on a fucking Boba Fett statue like that if you're not a Star Wars fan. You know, I know that EA came out and they were like, well, you know, the loot crate scenario was not, you know, what you saw in the beta was not representative of the final product. You know, this is not really how the loot crates are going to work. But I was like, is this legit, or is this just because of the horrible feedback that it got? And if this is not the way it's going to be in the final release, then why did you release the beta with these loot crates in the state that they are? Because it is like, and here's the thing, and I didn't get to chime in on the loot crate thing. I don't necessarily care for fucking everything to be, you know, fucking dressed up with loot crates like Battlefront 2 is. At the same time, it's fucking here, and not anybody in this podcast or not a soul in the industry is going to make that otherwise. Loot crates are the new normal now. That's just the way it's going to be going forward, and they're the new normal because they sell, and there's always going to be an audience for them. And with the ride, and the reason they're there, it's not insidious. It's not. Yes, these devs are trying to make more money, but this is because of the ballooning costs of developing a game in this day and age. Dev costs are on the rise, and this is why things like microtransactions and loot crates are necessary. And there's an audience for it. I mean, they're there because it's like have you guys ever gone to a costume store or like Target and you've seen like a Superman costume and the cape says user does not, or like, you know, cape does not enable wearer to fly. Like these things actually have these warnings on them, and the reason they have these warnings on them is because people have done it. Because people have done it, and it's the same thing for loot crates. They're there because people buy them. They're there because people consume them. They're there because people want them. You know, no matter how many times on Twitter you hear, well, vote with your wallet and don't spend the money. Like, if you don't, you know, show these fucking corporate, you know, fuck you. I want to play a Star Wars game. And I just won't buy a fucking loot crate.
Yeah, and that's how you really show them at the end of the day, because that's what they look at. You know what I mean? How many players purchased the game versus how many people bought loot crates?
You think Billy Bob Gamergate dude sitting in his basement, like, so I'm not going to buy Star Wars Battlefront because of loot crates. I'm going to fucking show EA. You think EA doesn't know you? Billy Bob, EA doesn't even know who the fuck you are.
There is one game though that Backlash worked on. It's called Evolve. With all those skins that they were trying to charge, remember that?
I think Evolve. I don't think that's what killed Evolve. What killed Evolve is just it not being a good gameplay cycle. I mean, I played it for 2 weeks and I was like, this is fun. I'm done now, because every match devolves into chase the monster for 20 minutes, shoot him for 30 seconds, chase the monster for 20 minutes, shoot him for 30 seconds, over and over and over and over and over. I think Evolve died simply because it released. It didn't release at a good time. The marketing campaign wasn't there. I don't think they sold the game very well. And it was a mediocre game. At the end of the day, I don't think that's why. I don't think that's why Evolve did not sell well.
But the backlash against those microtransactions, that game was huge.
Yeah, but I mean, the backlash against, I mean, there are other games that have had microtransactions that are fucking huge, and people are like, oh, this game has microtransactions. I mean, Shadow of Mordor, or not Shadow of War, everybody's like, oh my god, you know, fucking Middle Earth has loot crates. This is bullshit. And it's like one of the highest selling games on Steam this year, I believe. So I mean, and I guarantee you it's going to sell incredibly well on console. So you know, I don't think Backlash has anything to do with it. I don't think, like, guys like us can sit here on this podcast and other podcasts and we can say we're making a fucking principled stand against loot crates because, you know, for whatever reason, I'm morally against it. I think it's gambling, which I don't think it's gambling at all. That's a whole other story. But at the end of the day, Joe Q Consumer, who represents 90%, probably 95% of gamers out there, which is the casual market, the core market, or I'm sorry, not the core market, the mass market. They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about any of that. They don't give a shit about our stance towards loot crates or our stance towards, the moral ambiguity of having them in a game. All they want to do is go out and play Star Wars for an hour on Saturday night, and they're done. So they're going to buy the fucking game regardless of what anybody says, and that is why nothing is going to change. So it may sound like a defeatist attitude, but that's just the reality of the situation. That's the reality of the industry today.
The thing about these loot crates, though, is that people are getting worked up because they thought it gave people an advantage, but it doesn't really give you an advantage.
It doesn't really give you anything.
No, Assassin broke it down, and all it can really do for unskilled players is just boost their level, which means nothing to a skilled player.
That's all. Go ahead, Enrique. I'm sorry.
Let's say he mentioned something about like the Boba Fett like loot crate or something.
Did you say Boba Fett?
You did not just say Boba Fett.
What the fuck is Boba Fett? Is that the French version of Boba Fett?
Yes.
No, that's the statue that you have on your desk. That's the
Boba Fett. That's like somebody saying foyer is foyer.
That's
I'm like it's foyer or foyer. It's foyer if you're a fucking asshole.
All right. Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
I'm sorry, Mick. I'm sorry, man. Keep going, please.
You know what? I'm just gonna stop there.
He's ending the podcast.
I'm ending the podcast. Clowns, great having you on.
You guys want to see my Darth Vader statue? Oh, oui.
Bubba Fett. No, so I think he was saying with Bubba Fett, like even with someone like was it the loot crates with him where you could be invincible for like 20 seconds or something. Or 2 seconds. It just didn't make enough of a.
Oh yeah, he was saying it was because me and him got in an argument one day over it, and I said, what if you get a Boba Fett card that made you have 15% more jet fuel or something, right? And then you could stack them, and you go 15, 30, 45%. What if you could stack them? And he's like, no, that's not how it works, clowns. He's like, you might get like a 2% jet fuel boost, and it's gone in like 15 seconds. And he's like, that's the way these loot crates work. And anybody that doesn't look at it that way is, being ridiculous about themselves.
So, Enrique, can I address something in chat?
Sure, go ahead.
So, Jay Fonzarelli, who I don't know who that is, but Jay Fonzarelli says, fuck EA and their greed. All right. Come on. It's not greed. It's not greed. They're a corporation. They want to make money. That's their goal, is to make money. And like I said earlier, dev costs are rising every fucking year. And in a lot of cases...
But is that the real reason, though?
No. I gotta say...
No.
I gotta say something, because this came from your buddy, Matt Piscatella from the MPD group, and he said that the loot crates aren't there because of rise in dev cost. They're there because the market's been there, and they've been there for a long time.
That's another reason. And by the way, no, Jay Fonzarelli, pay to win it's not pay to win in Battlefront 2. It's not. It's not pay to win in Destiny 2. It's not pay to win in Battlefront 2. It's not pay to win in Shadow of War. You don't fucking need the loot crates in any of these games. Just don't buy them.
Shadow of War, I got achievements in the first 15 minutes thanks to $15 worth of loot crates.
Because you're a sucker. I'm just kidding.
No, I did it for review purposes, right? Because I got the game to review it, and I wanted to try out the loot system and see what happened. And I got achievements in the first 15 minutes because of those nice loot crates that I wouldn't have been able to get unless I played 8 hours worth.
Yeah, I just want to say I could see the perception of companies like EA and people feeling like they're being greedy. I can see that.
But I mean, Enrique, that's like saying I can't fucking believe that we're getting Horizon DLC. The game should have been complete. I can't believe
But that's I understand that, John. But I could also see how people will feel like okay, so you like Horizon DLC, right? You played Horizon, you beat the game, you beat the main story. The extra stuff is on top of the story, right? It's kind of like the cherry on top of the sundae. You've had the sundae, now you're gonna get the cherry, and that's all gravy and whatnot. But I could see people's perspective on why they would feel like EA's being greedy. I can see that, but at the same
greedy when they're not forcing you to buy anything.
No, nobody's forcing. Nobody's doing it. It's not like Darth Vader is force choking you through the screen, and saying,
yeah, give me
like fucking search your feelings, submit to the dark side, buy my fucking micro. Nobody's doing that. Nobody is forcing anybody to do anything.
But John, couldn't we make the argument that they're kind of, and not maybe preying on is too strong of a word, but they are, there is a demand there, or a market for that.
But in Battle, but no. Here's the thing. Here's what people don't stop to realize. Let's use Battlefront 2 as an example. People in chat are like Battlefront 2 is it's pay to win. When you unlock this shit in Battlefront 2, you still have to play the game and level up to be able to use it. You can't just fucking unlock it and use it. That's not how this works. You still have to play the fucking game.
As far as greed, though, John, there is a conversation you missed earlier that we brought up. It was Madden MUT cards, right? I mean, come on, you can't tell me that on the MUT cards that there isn't some sense of greed there with the odds of dropping.
I don't think it's greed. They're a company that's out to make money. I mean, fucking Dead Space.
Well, companies by nature are greedy, though.
But this has been going on for fucking years and years. This is something that is old as I mean, this goes back to the middle of Gen 7. I mean,
are you comparing this to prostitution?
What's that?
You said, are you comparing this to prostitution?
Well, that's the oldest profession.
No, I mean
I was waiting for that, Eric. I was like, he's gonna get it, but yeah, thank you.
But I mean, so like again, like Jay Fon's in the chat, it's corporate greed. It doesn't make it right. No, it might not make it right, but that's the way it is. I mean, corporations want to make fucking money. That's what they do.
And let's point out corporate greed. Corporate greed is YouTube. Corporate greed is Apple. Corporate greed,
I was gonna say, if
it's just it's like
Apple greedy for charging you $1,200 to get a new iPhone.
I mean, every corporation is greedy. They want money at the end of the day.
Constantly create every day, like losing their shit because they're being demonetized and everything else, and the practices are like unfair because of greed. That's greed. But in this case, it's like corporations going to figure out how to make money, but it's like I said, they're not locking the content away you can't access. It's not like they're saying, here's the game case. Now, if you want the game, give us $20 more.
These same people who are saying, "Oh, it's fucking corporate greed," and they're typing it out on the fucking $1,200 Apple iPhone X that you bought.
Right.
I'm gonna fucking rant about corporate greed on Twitter on my brand new Google Pixel 2 that I'm paying $350 a month for the next year.
I will say, okay, but I will say this, John. I think my concern with this is that when does it go too far?
You just did.
And that's what we have to be careful with.
But I mean, how much farther can it go? I mean, they're there. Unless it says you cannot finish, or unless you buy the fucking loot crate containing the final boss, then we're too far.
Yeah, unless it charges you $10 to press start, another $10 of extra options, that's when it goes too far. But all this loot crate nonsense is not too far.
I bought 2 loot crates in Overwatch, and I was like, okay, I don't need this. Whatever, I'm getting some skins. I don't need to spend any more money on it. And that was that. I didn't buy a single one, and I haven't bought a single fucking loot crate for anything since. And you know what? The fucking video game Gestapo didn't break down my fucking basement door and say, "John, you're not buying the loot crates." It didn't fucking happen. It didn't fucking happen. So, everybody, and I'm not coming down hard on clowns. I'm just coming. The consensus in the gaming industry or the gaming community, the greater gaming community, whatever that may be, is just fucking mind-numbingly frustrating to me, because it's like, just if you want the game, just buy the fucking game and play it, and don't buy the loot crates.
And stop shaming people that do want to buy the game.
I see people bitching about the loot crates in Shadow of War. And then they say, "Well, I don't like Lord of the Rings anyway, so I wasn't gonna buy it." Well, what the fuck do you care? Who fucking cares?
But it's like people just woke up today and said, "Loot box, loot crate. What is that?"
Wait, so
shit's been around forever.
That's the thing. It's like these things. Like nobody was bitching about loot crates in Overwatch. Fucking nobody. I didn't see anybody say, "Oh, this is a shitty business practice from Blizzard putting these fucking loot crates."
Did it make it unbalanced though?
No, they didn't. But here's the thing. even if you like, and again, Battlefront, even if you buy a fucking loot crate, you still have to level up and be able to actually use the thing. You can't use it when you open it. You can't use it when you open it. So, I mean, what? And here's the thing: if somebody else, let's say it was fucking pay to win, which it's not, but let's say it was pay to fucking win, or I mean, I don't know how the fuck that works in multiplayer because it's fucking Battlefront. Like you're not aiming down iron sights and fucking, it's not MLG gaming on Battlefront. You're fucking running at each other, and you're pew 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 bam 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 on either fucking side. Like there's not a whole lot of skill involved in Battlefront. I'm sorry, but there's not. Whatever. I mean, I'm gonna die a billion fucking times trying to fucking take down that ad anyway. So who cares? Like, and not once am I gonna think to myself, I wonder if that fucking stormtrooper over there bought a loot crate that enabled him to fucking fire at a rate of fire 0.2 seconds faster, and that's what. No, I don't give a shit. I don't care. Like, and it just boggles my mind that people actually fucking care about this.
Well, I think the concern, John, is that it could create a scenario where you have people that have an advantage that have paid, to have an advantage, or it may create some level of unbalanced gameplay, and I get that. I'm not saying that we're there, but my concern with loot crates and whatever pay to win or whatever you want to call it is that, like, when does it go too far? And I think that, like, one thing that I think about too is that I'm older, I'm 40, Clowns, and I really thought about this because of what you said earlier, Clowns, about your daughter jailbreaking a new iPhone or whatever it was. Kids, the younger generations growing up differently than what we're going up to, and so
they're growing up with all the cool shit.
Yeah, exactly. There's definitely a shift in terms of economics here. I think there's, how we're used to growing up gaming or buying content's definitely changing. And I think for me, the fear is that, you're going to have a group, and I think it's going to be the younger generation that's really going to buy into this because they're used to that. They're already doing that. They're already buying content on the fly. So for them, buying content to give them an advantage, or to see what's going to happen next. I think they're already getting that with other forms of media, and I think that's.
Well, I mean, Telltale's already been doing that. You have to buy every fucking episode in order to see how the fucking game ends. I mean, that's what Resident Evil Revelations 2 did. That's what I mean.
Yeah, but with Telltale, you're not paying $60 for the game up front, though.
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna say though, most Telltale titles are what, like $30 at the most.
Something like something like that. I don't know exactly. I don't like Telltale games because they play like fucking dog shit. But I don't know. I feel like this is much ado about fucking nothing, and I didn't see anybody bitching about loot crates until literally like this past month. All of a sudden, people are like, loot crates.
I just want to. I want to.
Battle packs have been in Battlefield for forever.
You guys.
You get a special gun. Like, nobody was crying about battle packs. You know what I mean?
No, you're right, B. I mean, like, it's not new. I mean, it's been around for a long time. I mean, this is new. I mean, this is, Battlefield's been having this for years now. So, I'm sorry, John. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't care about fucking loot crates. Whatever. Fucking, they can saturate everything with loot crates, and it's not gonna make me fucking buy them because I'm an adult who is not easily coerced, and if I don't want to fucking spend my money on something, I'm not going to spend my money on something.
There's one thing though.
I'm sure people will say John is biased towards EA, but
yeah, that's what I'm thinking right now, John. I think you're biased against companies that have loot crates, John. What I want to say though, I want to address what Lord Capas. I can never say his name.
Kaibatsu.
Okay, yeah. So he was saying, like, not to use the Chrono as an excuse, but Enrique, you and I talked a little bit about, like, my daughter, right? So on Rocket League, you get those loot crates that are random from playing matches. Mm-hmm. And what she does is, because she's a girl and she's online, there's a lot of guys that are friends with her on Rocket League, unfortunately. So she hits up her friends in her Rocket League forums, and she's like, oh, guys, I got loot crates in Rocket League. And she probably says, my dad won't let me pay to unlock them. So what do those guys do? Hey, send it to me, and I'll unlock it for you, and I'll send it right back to you. Like, see, I think there needs to be some sort of regulation because one of her friends has already spent like over $500 unlocking her Rocket League loot crates.
That's crazy.
See, that's a problem.
My 10-year-old son, he goes hard in the paint for Rainbow Six Siege. You know what I mean? He's ranked 104 right now, and he ain't spent a additional dime on the game at all, and he's unlocked all the characters just by grinding. You know what I mean? And he unlocked every, you know what I mean, operator that's on the game. Just because that's his favorite game. He plays it every single day. He plays with all his friends. They get online, and they do their thing. Never asked me for any money to buy any characters or anything like that. So it just depends on the situation.
I mean, Enrique, you asked when it goes too far. It goes too far when you literally cannot finish the fucking game unless you buy a loot crate. Until then, who fucking cares? Nobody's forcing you to buy it. If it is not impeding you playing the game and enjoying the game, that's the whole point, to have fun. If you're not having fun with the game, it's not the loot crate's fault. It's the game's fault. That's on you for not enjoying the fucking game, or that's the game's fault for not entertaining you or capturing your interest or, holding your attention. It's not the loot crate's fault. I mean, don't buy the fucking loot crate. It's as simple as that. If your enjoyment of a game hinges on whether or not there are loot crates in it, then I think there's a deeper issue that you need to explore.
John, I agree with you there, but I feel like, but I also think that it's a little bit of a slippery slope, and I think there's people buying loot crates, and as long as that's happening, I think these companies are going to continue pushing the envelope. They're going to keep pushing it to see how far they can go to get money, and I just feel like this is something we have to keep an eye on, because we don't want to get to that point where it's paid to finish a game.
We're not going to get. Come on, man. We're not going to get to that point.
I don't know, man.
We know. I know.
The person that does it is going to die.
Yeah, the first and that's why we're not going to get to it, because these devs, with a very few exceptions, are not fucking stupid. They're not fucking stupid. They're not going to. No, you are not going to see a game or the evolution of loot crates to the point where, well, you know what? If you want to finish the game, buy the loot crate. That is not even a thought in my head that is going to happen. No.
What about achievements being locked behind loot crates or trophies?
No, that's not going to happen either.
Well, I can see that happening.
I can't. No.
Okay, I got the scenario.
Because it is not. So those achievements and trophies.
But John, you have people that are addicted to like trophy hunting.
No. I got it, Enrique. But no, hold on. Let me finish. What I'm saying is that trophies and achievements are tied to Sony and Microsoft services, not the fucking devs. It is not up to the devs whether or not a trophy or achievement is unlockable through a fucking loot crate. That is, if it's so, and I guarantee you, both Sony and Microsoft would put the kibosh on that so fucking fast you wouldn't even know it was ever a possibility.
But the loot crates can make it easier to unlock the achievements. Like, for example, in Shadow of War, I got powerful orcs, right, and I got powerful gear in the first 15 minutes of the game. Bam! Okay. I popped achievements I probably shouldn't have popped to Act 2 8 hours later.
So, Clowns, hold on. How long is the game?
I haven't finished playing it yet.
So it's like from I have heard you can drop about 60 hours into Shadow of War, easy. You would have gotten it eventually.
Eventually, yeah, but just think how much easier it was off the bat just to unlock those achievements.
But what I'm saying is that you didn't have to spend the money on it. You would have gotten it.
Maybe 8 hours later.
But my point is that you would have gotten it had you not spent the money. So I mean, it doesn't really, that achievement would have come. The achievement would have come.
There are some achievement hunters and trophy hunters that do speed runs to speed run these achievements,
and that's on them. That's on them.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, if there's demand out there, who's to say that they won't hide achievements behind loot?
They're not going to hide achievements behind.
What about, for example, what about the Madden Ultimate teams? Right, I'm sure it's a lot easier to get achievements than that.
So now we're going off the rails. We're going off the rails.
Madden Ultimate Team is loot crates. It's just packs of cards.
But there are not. What I'm saying is that there are not going to be freaking achievements and trophies locked behind loot crates or locked behind paywalls. And I think, and I think on this matter, I think B Money and Eric would both agree with me, right, guys?
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
I don't see that happening one bit.
I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen. But
I am saying
I wouldn't be surprised.
I am saying it's definitely not going to happen.
We probably thought
if it happens, I will sell my PS4.
All right,
we probably never thought loot crates were going to happen when we were both playing the PS2 and the original Xbox, right? I mean, it's here now.
What's funny, Clown?
But that's like saying, no, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. I want to address what Clowns just said. He just said we wouldn't have even imagined loot crates would have been a thing in the PS2 era
and the Xbox One era. Like,
okay, but that's like,
wouldn't have.
But that's like saying after the apocalypse happens, that's like saying I never would have imagined that meteor had fallen out of the sky. Never saw that coming.
Well, I mean,
well, that's what you're saying. You're saying you can't see it being achievements being locked to it. That's like that meteor falling out of the sky.
Yeah, but this is but now okay. Now we are comparing loot
Hey,
crates.
look,
We have gone off the rails.
I'm not the Chicken Little here.
Let's move on. Let's just move
well,
on.
I will say this, John.
We're going in circles.
I will say this though. I do remember when, and I remember because I was in a Battlefield clan, and I remember when the idea of unlocking, characters, or unlocking all the perks of a specific character. We talked about this amongst ourselves in a clan that, we're not going to pay for that shit. Mm-hmm. We would never pay for that. That's not going to happen, and it did happen.
Wait a minute,
and we ended up paying for it. I mean, to stay competitive with other clans.
Assassin actually did say something to me about Battlefield 1. There's an achievement that's a lot easier if you drop like $100 into battle packs to get, and it has to do with XP boost and some type of grinding. He said it shaves off so many hours of getting the achievement. I'll have to ask him which one.
If you're an achievement hunter and you want to do that, that's on you.
Yeah, but, is that achievement worth $100 to you? Yeah,
it probably fucking not for me.
Not for me.
Exactly.
But you know what? Here's the thing. These are grown. I mean, the vast majority of people buying loot crates are grown-ass men making their own, and women making their own decisions. It's their money. If they want to spend their money on loot crates, I say fucking let them. It's not hurting. It's not hurting me, and it's not hurting them. If that's what they want, then let them do it.
Real quick, guys. Stick Figure in the live chat says mobile phone games get away with this already.
Okay. Get away with what? Get away with what?
Get away like with pay for play, or pay to win, or pay to complete.
I mean, some of those games are free to play. What they brought on though.
Yeah. I mean, are we seriously going to compare the mobile platform market to the console market?
What I think he's getting at is that business model could leak into the console model, the console business model.
Well, I said at the beginning of the podcast, that's probably where a lot of the idea came from. But at the same time, in a lot of those games too, you still don't have to pay. You can keep playing those games. You don't have to pay for it.
I don't. I think that's probably a false equivalency, in my opinion. Because I mean, you're talking about a market that, for the most part, does not play console games, does not play PC games. They play mobile games. That's what they do, and that's what works for them. I mean, that's okay. And you have to remember, most of these mobile games are not $59 games. They're either free, or they're $1.99. They're $5. So obviously,
couldn't we see that though on consoles?
Nope.
Free games, $5 games.
Nope.
I could see that.
I mean, we already see them, but I mean, they're all indie games and they don't have microtransactions. We see them now.
The free to play games have microtransactions and loot crates and stuff, and
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, our Fortnite Battle Royale has fucking crates, right?
Not yet.
Not yet, but it will. But it's fucking free. So
10 million players.
Okay.
I mean,
all I'm saying, shout out to the developer that makes the game where the final boss is a big ass loot crate. The only way you can beat the game is to put your credit card information in.
The boss battle's a big Visa logo.
The boss battle is some eldritch elder god just called Visa.
Yeah.
John, do you think he would sound like the guy from Pyre?
And then like he's chasing. I can see chasing you. He's chasing you throughout the level and just like popping it through the floor. And he's like, "I'm everywhere you want to be." Like, I don't know. It's not gonna happen. It's just not. It's not.
I think we'll get cashback rewards on video games. I'm just kidding.
What's in your wallet?
Yeah.
Now I've just got this. Now I've got this mental picture in my head of like in a minute here when I go back to play The Evil Within 2, like Sebastian's going to turn around. He's going to look at me. He's going to be like, "If you need an annuity, but you need cash now." It's like G.D. Whitworth, 877 cash now. Like, when we get to that point, then yes, we've gone too fucking far.
if we may get there, I'm seriously, guys. I legitimately, I know not. I know that some of you guys don't agree with me, but I have concerns. I really do. I mean, when it comes to money and it comes to, everything changed for the console business when the console became connected to the internet. It opened up another way for companies to generate revenue, and I think they're gonna look.
Look, dude, I love you, man, but I'm gonna give you some life advice. We've got a fucking guy in the White House who wants to curtail personal freedoms and shut down the press. We've got a crazy man across the ocean who wants to fucking nuke us to hell. Don't waste your time worrying about loot crates. There are other things in the world to worry about right now.
No, I mean,
there are legitimate things that we do need to worry about, like the fact that Final Fantasy 15 is the second best Final Fantasy. Let's think about it. Is.
No, it's not.
But honest to God, I like
7 and 6 are the top.
Well, 6 is the best, but 7 is not.
No, 7 is the best. 6 is after it.
I'm saying this because on the scale of, honestly, next month I think we're going to move on to the next big gaming crisis. I don't think anybody's going to be talking about this. I don't.
Well, we're going to be talking about how much time do we have to play Mario Odyssey?
Yeah, nobody's going to give a shit about this conversation in a month.
Man, I hope Super Mario Odyssey has loot crates. I'd like to try different hats on.
Can you imagine Nintendo with loot crates in Mario Odyssey?
If they do have loot crates, I want them to look like regular question mark boxes, and you buy them by hitting them from the bottom. That's what I want.
Man, it'd be a great business model for Mario Kart, huh?
Yeah, man.
$5, get a mushroom. Get a fire flower.
If Mario gets that Louis Vuitton hat, I actually might have to buy that. I might have to do that.
Anyway, Enrique, I've got a dip, man. I gotta go. I have not seen my wife all day. She's like upstairs, like my fucking husband is on a podcast, and
she's like he's in a robe.
He's in a robe
talking to other men. A little awkward.
How many loot crates is he buying right now?
He's buying those loot. I actually was gonna bring my pipe on.
What if our relationships turn into loot crates?
Well, I mean, shit. I've got a loot crate that comes to me every month in my fucking mailbox. But that's different. I get some cool shit out of that loot crate. And I know exactly, and I get a general. But that's the other thing is that people are like, oh, it's like I had one guy on Twitter say it's just like playing this. It's just like the slot machines. I'm like, it's not like the fucking slot machines.
No, I don't think it's
nothing like fucking slot machines. And he's like, oh yeah, why not? I'm like, because you're getting a fucking return on your investment. 9.9 times out of 10, when you drop that coin in the slot machine and you pull the slot, you get fucking nothing. That's the point of the slot machine. The casinos are fucking fleecing you. That's why you should never go to a fucking casino and gamble, because you're probably not going to fucking win. With a loot crate, you have a general idea based on a pay tier of what you're going to get, like one guaranteed epic item. You may not know what that epic item is, but you know there's going to be an epic item in there, and you are getting a return on your investment. It is not like gambling at all.
John, we gotta do the MGM, man.
No, fuck that. The only way I could even come close to making that comparison is that I can see people who have addictive natures going to town on loot crates because I gotta get one more. But that's not the loot crate's fault. That is a problem with that person that they need to seek help for.
That's what we talked about earlier.
No, I agree with that. That addictive personality, yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a person thing.
I mean, you can have. I mean, and that's the other thing is that what about people who have problems with gambling and obsessive personalities? I'm like, well, then they need to get help. That's not the game's fault. People obsess over any number of things. People obsess over fucking anything. It doesn't have to be loot crates. It can be something else. It can be fucking people obsess over trophies. But if somebody's obsessed over fucking loot crates and they're going buy, spend. That is that person's fault. That's not the game's fault.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. Yeah. All right, John. We'll go hang out with the wife, man.
Yeah, I gotta go hang out with the wife, man. But I wanted to hop on and catch at least part of the conversation.
Love the road, man.
I know, right? Well, I actually have a. We should do loot crates on Basement Radio. You know what? You get a chance. The epic package is I just stand up without any pants on. That's the epic package. If you get my meaning, that you get in the loot crates, you'll get an epic package. I'll just stand up, sans pants, and flash everybody. But it's only got a 2% chance of happening, so you've got to continue to pump money into it.
Oh my god!
In order to possibly get it.
Dude, that's scary that you're even talking about that.
You might get like some chest hair or something like that. But for the pants to come off, you've got to keep trying to buy the loot crates. So,
oh my goodness,
yeah, it's gonna be good stuff.
All right, John.
What's
going on next week for SDGC, man?
We have Seamus Blackley coming on.
Sweet.
Yep. So the father of Xbox, he's gonna be on that biased fucking super deformed ponycast. Yeah, no, it's gonna be good. Apparently somebody actually like got in touch with him and they were like, "Don't go on that podcast. They're all biased, Sony fucking fag." And I'm like, "You don't watch us, do you?"
No.
I'm sure Seamus probably promptly laughed.
Yeah, he took it real seriously too.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and I guess it was. I guess they did that because they were like, Mr. Negative kept Ryan McCaffrey from going on Mooch's podcast, and I'm like, yes, I did. And I'm proud of it. But yeah, so we got Seamus Blackley coming on next week. It's gonna be a lot of fun. He's a really cool dude. I'm sure we'll have the Loot Crate conversation next week on SDGC. Enrique, you're gonna be on that show too, right?
Yes, I will be there.
Yep, you'll be there. Get ready to have the Loot Crate conversation all over again because we have not talked about it on SDGC yet. Mike Huber is going to be back on for the 4th time in a few weeks.
Nice. Awesome.
Yep. Mike Huber from Easy Allies. He's a good friend of ours, and that'll be his 4th appearance on the podcast. So I can't believe
back on, man.
Yeah, and now I'm gonna. So
everything that happened, man. Well, he's.
So I maintain comms with Mike, and I would love to have him back on, but I'm gonna give him some time to get himself settled.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised by that news, by the way.
I'm not, because I think Dragon Age is dead, and I think all assets are being moved onto Anthem.
Wow, interesting.
Yep. I mean, I think Dragon Age is dunsies.
Wow.
And Mass Effect is fucking dead too.
Jeez.
You're never getting another Mass Effect game.
That's I can't even stomach that. I can't even think that's
ended with a whimper.
You would have never thought.
I know for a damn fact Mass Effect is dead, and I am 99% certain Dragon Age is dead.
That's crazy.
They are all in on Anthem, and
why?
They need to be. They need to be all in on Anthem because they need that to be a fucking hit.
Money.
Because if it's not, BioWare is in trouble.
Money, yeah. Makes sense.
And if you don't think Anthem's not going to have loot crates, you better fucking wake up. Get ready for it, boys. Get ready. You better get ready for those fucking loot crates in Anthem. You know, and I'll tell you what. All the fanboys, all the BioWare fanboys are going to be like, you know, everybody who's railing, all the guys who are railing against Battlefront 2 having loot crates, everybody's going to come out of the work and be, what's the big fucking deal about loot crates and Anthem? What's the big deal? And because that's just how fanboys work, you know, they and I agree with Fastback in chat. We do need another coder, but I hate to break it to you that it's never going to happen.
We need the Jade Empire.
Coder is fucking dead. Coder is deader than dead. Coder is a fucking enemy in the Evil Within too. Like, that game is fucking dead. You can't get any more dead than Coder is.
Jesus.
But yeah, no, that's the state that BioWare is in, man. Everything's dead, but Anthem. It is balls deep on Anthem right now. And
they better knock it out of the park, man.
They better. And seeing as how that is going to be a progressive game like Destiny, I don't think you're going to see anything coming out of BioWare for a good long while but Anthem.
Jesus.
Times are changing, man. I mean, that model pays, man.
Games as a service.
They want games as a service is the way going forward. And that's not to say that single player games are going away. They're not. That's ridiculous. But that is,
they're dying.
Even more so than Battle Royale, which personally I think is going to fizzle out eventually. Games as a service is here to stay. That's not going fucking anywhere anytime soon.
GTA 5.
I mean, that's why we don't have any DLC for GTA 5. Any single-player DLC. I mean, think about it. I mean, Grand Theft Auto 4 had all kinds of fucking single player DLC, all
Yep.
kinds. Red Dead
Yep.
Redemption had the fucking the awesome zombie DLC. Grand Theft Auto 5, fucking nothing. Why?
Nope.
Why bother? That's why we haven't heard anything about Grand Theft Auto 6. Why the fuck would they bother?
They don't need
GTA
to.
5 is still fucking selling. It's in the top.
Dude, it's fucking. It's like top 5 fucking MPD every
And
month.
nobody complains about buying shark cards.
You could fucking put. I mean,
It's true.
That's true. Klaus.
GTA
And Class, I got them all one.
GTA 5 is fucking unkillable. You can't fucking kill that game. It's like Jason. You can't fucking kill it. It just keeps marching on. And why would they work on something else? It's making so much fucking money. What do they fucking care? I would be stunned if we ever got GTA 6 at this point. Stunned.
Can you imagine what a
Like-
Rockstar holiday party's like?
Stunned. And if you guys don't think we're going to see Red Dead Redemption online, you're kidding yourselves.
Oh no, that's
Yeah,
that's a
that's there.
that's a
And personally, I don't give a shit about Grand Theft Auto because I think Grand Theft Auto fucking sucks and is garbage.
you're crazy.
But it is. But it's. I mean,
I disagree.
they look pretty, but I mean, the gunplay sucks. The character movement sucks. They're buggy as shit. I don't get the fucking big deal by Grand Theft Auto. I really don't.
Story,
I can watch the fucking
story and characters.
story. Like,
Story and characters.
The story was pretty good. The single player was really good.
The story. Look,
I'm not the kind of guy who like. I have a hard time. I have a hard time taking any game seriously where right after like a very exposition heavy meaningful scene I can get in a car and go get a BJ from a prostitute and then run her over. Like,
Okay, but
I'm
that's
like
not,
okay,
that's not
like,
all Grand Theft Auto. That's not like, in fairness, that's not like the entire game. You don't
it's not the entire
finish a
game.
mission
but-
and get like a BJ.
It's not the entire game, but I don't know. Like
You
dude,
can, but it's
dude,
not.
the gunplay fucking sucks. It
Okay,
sucks.
but the gunplay, but that's not. But that's not.
That's half the game. And you're fucking shooting at people, and it sucks. Every one of those characters move like they just had anal sex. They do. You got that.
Oh my god!
That's how they fucking run, dude. Load that game up and play as Trevor, and tell me he did not just sling his ass out in the alley.
You know what?
Yeah, the player movement is trash in GTA.
But that's
I don't care
not.
which one you
But that's
play.
not why people play GTA though. It's
I don't. Tell me why. Why
I
do
play
people play
games.
GTA?
I play games for the gameplay, and little annoyances like that really aggravate me.
But
That's why I still haven't completed the campaign in GTA 5. And
I mean,
bought that game like 3 or 4
Every
times.
time you nudge one of those characters forward, they go into this weird shuffle that's like, I'm like, why are you doing that? Stop it. Every one of those characters moves like they just rode a fucking horse for 10 hours.
all right, look.
Every one of them.
I had fun just like carjacking cars and crashing into crap and
I don't
taking
know.
helicopters and
But if I want to crash, I mean, I can crash into things.
Being I got blown up.
I can crash into things in any number of games that play better and look better. Like,
But that's-
I mean, I
but
just
that's
don't
not-
get it. I just don't get it.
But the
No.
strength of Grand Theft Auto has always been the story and the characters.
I don't agree. I don't think maybe some people here buy Grand Theft Auto for the characters and the story, but honestly, I think 97% of people who buy Grand Theft Auto games buy them to fucking get BJs and prostitutes and then beat them up. And
no.
And,
No,
I don't buy
and then go on killing sprees throughout the city. And if that's what you want to do, fine. I'm not going to sit here. It's a video game. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not offended by it. It's a fucking video game. But let's not sit here and kid ourselves that Grand Theft Auto 5 has sold like 100 million fucking copies because of the amazing story. It hasn't. That's not why it sells. It sells because people want to just fucking tear through the city and shoot shit, and that's fine. It's just not for me because because these guys should have been killed. These guys can't fire a fucking gun to save their lives. I don't understand how they've killed so many cops. These 3 guys because they can't fucking shoot for shit. I don't know. I just know. I could talk to you all night about how Grand Theft Auto sucks, but then again, I also think The Witcher sucks. So maybe
What? See that? Come on, man. How can you say The Witcher sucks?
because the combat is shit and rote, and Geralt moves like he's fucking 8 hours into a snake bite.
Dude, no,
No.
no. You know, John, the combat's not perfect.
Dude,
Not perfect,
when
but it's-
Geralt turns around,
Where's
where's Roach? When Geralt turns around, he does like a fucking circle, and I'm like, why are you doing that, Geralt? Just fucking turn around. I call him Gerald, by the way. I don't call him Geralt. I call him Gerald because
Like I call Bubba Fett, Bubba Fett.
he's more of a Gerald to me. But But yeah, like I mean, dude, like the reason I like Souls combat is because when you're hitting something with your fucking sword, there's weight behind it, and you can feel the fucking sword hitting flesh, and it's this weighty, meaningful combat. I feel like I'm being hit by an enemy's fucking mace, and I'm staggering back. When I'm fucking when Gerald is doing his fucking water dance, and Gerald when Gerald is doing his fucking water dance, and he's spinning around like a tornado, there is no sense of fucking collision detection. Like I'm just like hacking away at some bandit, and he's like but nothing's fucking happening.
Okay,
and he's like just fucking taking it.
The combat is not perfect. But
not perfect. The combat is shit, Enrique.
But the strength of that game is again.
Judy has better combat than The Witcher 3 does.
Look how big. Look at the world. Look at the characters. You know, that's the allure.
Enrique, fucking Mario Kart has better combat than The Witcher 3.
Damn.
I don't do that.
I had issues with combat in the Final Fantasy 15.
Oh, the combat in Final Fantasy 15 is light years ahead of The Witcher 3.
No, it's not.
Light years because it's fun. It's fun.
It's
like
it's
combat
okay.
Combat in Witcher 3 is the video game equivalent to me of folding fucking laundry while Ellen DeGeneres is on. I'm just not like a good fucking time.
We're not folding nothing but fitted sheets.
Folding nothing but my wife's underwear while fucking Ellen DeGeneres is on, and I can't turn it off. Like that's my nightmare.
The Final Fantasy 15 combat to me is like driving a car without power steering fluid.
But it's awesome. There's the only problem I have. The only time Final Fantasy 15's combat ever bugged me was sometimes the camera would spaz out.
Yeah.
But if you want to know how to do fucking combat in a game, go play Hellblade. That's how you do fucking sword combat. That's how you do fucking sword combat. Hellblade. Senua. Gerald ain't got fucking nothing on Senua.
I will say this though: The Witcher 2's combat was pretty bad. 3 was much improved, I thought.
Somebody in chat says John's lost it. GTA is God.
Yeah, face facts, man.
No, it's not.
San Andreas was the best game.
It's not God.
GTA series.
GTA is not even a very good game.
John, I 110% disagree with you.
And that's fine. You can. I mean, you know, I've got opinions, and you know, not everybody's going to agree with them, as you guys know. I've got opinions. But you know, I mean, it is what it is. I just don't. I played GTA 5 for a few hours, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm done. I'm done. Like I remember driving through. Yeah, I was driving through the city, and I was listening to one of those radio stations. Like it was like this talk show radio station, and I get that like it's supposed to be funny, but I heard this one guy gets on the radio and he's like, yeah, and then I took a shit and put it in that bitch's glove compartment. I'm like, why am I playing this? Like, why am I playing this? Like
GTA is a nice break from everyday stuff too, because it had a great sense of humor. Trevor was awesome.
I didn't think it had a great sense of humor at all.
I agree with Clowns. I thought that Trevor, the sense of humor, it's the characters. I mean, that's the story and the characters.
You've got
it's got that dark sense of humor to it.
I don't know, man. You've got like mafia guy who's like, "Hey, yo, there's a boat going down the highway, yeah." And then you've got you've got the guy who's from the hood, and he's like, I just want to get rich. And then you got the fucking meth guy who's like, I'm just a fucking crazy asshole. Like I don't get this thing about the characters. It's like Michael is the most fucking rote, stereotypical character. He's walking around, and by the way, I love the way he walks. He's like, I'm like, Michael, stop walking like you're a fucking badass, dude. I can't say this.
Is he doing De Niro? Is he doing De Niro, John?
Yeah, well, like every time, like I can just see Michael just like sitting down, and he's like. It's my De Niro face. It's actually kind of fucked up how much that actually looks like De Niro. Like, I just saw myself on the.
That's one thing I like about GTA though, is like they're not afraid to, break down boundaries and do stuff that's risky.
Yes, thank you.
Rockstar's got the balls to do it.
Thank you.
No, I will say when I haven't finished the campaign either, but the first time I played it, I was like, and Franklin's talking to his boy, I'm like, this is how Rockstar sees some of us. I was like, this dude is like way out there as far as the portrayal of a brother goes.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Like, believe it or not, I know guys from the fucking hood. I served in the Marine Corps with them. They're good fucking guys. And you know what? These guys, they joined the military. They wanted to make a fucking difference. They wanted to fucking make something of those. They wanted to get out of that life and try to elevate themselves and get out of there and make a positive change in their neighborhood. And I don't like the fucking stereotypical depiction of guys from the hood in that game. You got guys walking around, you know, they're like, yeah, motherfucker, and I'm like, but I know these guys. Like, I've served, I fought with these guys, and that's not what they're like.
What's that guy's name? You said Michael. Was that the
yeah? That's the fucking Guido's name. Yeah.
So like growing up, right? I grew up in an Italian household, and that Michael guy really fits the stereotype of many.
I know he was just clowned his dad, like walking down the street. You know, he's like, hey, Carlo, come here. You know, like
hey, forget about it.
And I've got this mental picture of like
right here,
Carlo in a boat going down the highway, and his dad's driving, trying to get him back. Like,
well, bro, when I first started driving, he did let me drive a boat. It was his like 1975 Cadillac, and he said you could drive this because if you hit mailboxes, you'll be perfectly safe.
I don't know. I do have to run, but I'll leave you guys with this. A funny story. That doesn't have to do with video games, but since we're talking about guys from the hood, a guy from the hood I was in boot camp with. His last name was Wooten, Victor Wooten, and good fucking guy, awesome, hilarious guy. Dumb as a bag of fucking hammers, right? Like this like he was a brick, and we had a lot of that in my platoon actually. And we were all lined up in the squad bay, and Wooten was right on the side of me, and I'm standing at attention, and we're all staring straight ahead as our kill hat. It's our third hat, drill instructor. He's walking back and forth. He's fucking yelling at people, you know. And we're all looking straight ahead because you don't fucking make eye contact with it, you know, with any DI unless he's speaking to you. And Wooten is just following him like this, back and forth, back and forth. And I'm like, and I'm looking at Wooten from across the line. I'm like, stop it. Stop it. And it was like, Wooten's fucking looking at him. And so drill instructor turns around, sees Wooten looking at him, and Wooten just goes. So he walks up to Wooten. He walks up to Wooten, and he's like, hey, Wooten, the fuck you looking at? The fuck you looking at, Wooten? You like me? You like my sweet ass? You want to fuck me, don't you, Wooten? That's what you want. You like that shit, don't you, Wooten? Yeah, that's why. Yeah, we don't take fucking ferries in the Marine Corps, Wooten. Are you fucking ferry, Wooten? And Wooten, dead serious, not a smile on his face, looks that drill instructor in the eye, and without a hint of fucking humor says, I can't even say this without fucking. I will never forget this. And you guys might think you know it's coming, but you're not. You're not prepared for what happens next. He looks that drill instructor right in the eye, and he says, no, sir. This recruit ain't gay, sir. This recruit like bitches, sir. Oh shit! And I'm going to tell you right now that drill instructor Staff Sergeant Larry McNair and Staff Sergeant McNair, this recruit like bitches, sir. He looks at Wooten in the face, and he's got this look on his face, and this is exactly what happens. Right? He starts off all pissed off, and he's like, and he's like, God damn it, Wooten, and he storms down the fucking hallway, and he's walking like he's all pissed off, but there's just mirror in the back of the squad bay, and we can all see his face, and he's like. And because he doesn't know, he's like, what the fuck just happened? And he walks into the DI hut, and we all collapse laughing. I mean, we are crying. It's the first time we've laughed in a month. And Wooten is just standing there looking at it, but he's like, I don't know what the fuck y'all laughing at. I like bitches. And then he comes back out of the DI hut, and he goes, you motherfuckers got 30 seconds to get that shit out of your goddamn systems. And then he goes back into the DI and shuts the door. And then that night, when we had senior DI time, and he walks into the, walks into the fucking squad bay, well, get their attention. He goes, Wooten, I hear you like bitches. He goes, yeah. He goes, yes, sir. I love bitches. And he said, and he says, good to go, Wooten.
Wow.
That is my favorite memory of boot camp. When Wooten said, no, sir, this recruit bitches, sir. And he was so fucking serious. That was the best part. He really loved bitches.
Oh,
That was the best. I miss. Oh, Wooten was so good. Wooten was so fun. Like everybody had their fucking moment at boot camp, and one day Wooten just did like everybody goes to that moment where like I can't do this anymore. And Wooten was like, I can't be here anymore. I need to leave. And the drill instructor's like, all right, Wooten, you want to leave? Good. You can leave, Wooten. But he's like, but we need to ask God, Wooten, because he's the only one who can help you now. So he made Wooten hold 2 ammo cans and flap his arms and say, "Dear God, make me a bird so I can fly far." An hour later, we went back out to check out Wooten, and he was like, "God, make me a bird. Fly far away from here." And he's like, "Shut the fuck up, Wooten, get back in here." Like, it was so good.
Oh my
Wow.
So
That's from Forrest Gump. That's hilarious.
Oh, dude, that shit happened to me too, man. Like I had glasses. I had the big old BFGs, the birth control glasses, and we're marching to formation one day, and I wasn't fucking paying attention, and my mind was off elsewhere. And he goes, call the platoon a halt, and I fucking walked right into him, and I walked right into the guy in front of me. He goes, "Phipps, what the fuck was that?" And I was like, "Sorry, sir, this recruit had trouble seeing, sir." And, "Oh, good. Well, don't worry, we got a fucking fix for that." So he took another pair of glasses and put them on my forehead, and then I had to skip around the platoon and sing, "I can see clearly now, the rain is gone." It's good stuff. It was good stuff.
That's hilarious.
Wow, man.
Hi, boys. I got to get going.
All right, John.
And I hope you enjoyed that. All right.
All right, man.
Later, bro.
Yeah.
Peace.
That's too funny, man.
Oh, that's hilarious. I'm in tears. That's too funny.
No, I could picture that scene being in like GTA. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah. I 110% disagree. I think it's a great game. I've always been a big fan of the series because it doesn't take itself seriously. It's and the story's always been good. And it's kind of like, for me, that series is really kind of tapped into pop culture a little bit, and some of the movies. Like we talk about. You guys remember Vice City? Ray Liotta was the voice of the main protagonist in that game. Mm-hmm. And they borrowed a lot from some of games like some of the movies like Scarface. They drew inspiration from that. So that's why I've always been a big fan of the series. So just my 2 cents. So, gentlemen, I think that's it with topics. I think we covered everything we're going to talk about today. Loot crates turned out to be a very passionate discussion.
Yeah, it's topical. I mean, that's what it's been all week. So,
yeah, you know what, clowns, man, I'm a little worried, man. I got little ones too, man. I'm a little worried, man. I think they're too smart for their own good now.
Yeah, I mean, it's there. The potential is there. You know what I'm saying? I've seen it with my daughter and her friends, and you could say that it's partly the parents' responsibility, put restrictions on. I get that. I totally do. But I can tell you, my daughter could crack any restriction you throw at her, any passcode, any passphrase, any router, any block, VPN proxy. She could break it.
I mean, that's impressive. But it's scary. Like she might have a career in terms of like cyber security, in the future. But that's a little scary.
Yeah, it definitely is scary. I mean, she's 15 now. She wants to be a Navy SEALs when she gets older. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by the time she's like 20 if she finds a way to milk the loot crate system.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So, all right, gentlemen. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the podcast this evening, unless anyone wants to chime in real quick with anything they'd like to talk about quickly. Anyone? Bueller?
No.
B?
No, I'm good, man.
LeBron's going to Los Angeles after this year?
Nah, man. He's staying in Cleveland. He ain't going nowhere.
No, man.
Don't believe the hype, man. Don't believe the hype.
I hear the rumors.
That's all it is. Why would you go to the Western Conference when you get into the finals every year in the Eastern Conference? Who are you competing with?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Yourself, pretty
go
much.
To the Western Conference and get put out by somebody in the first round.
Yeah.
You think LeBron gonna like that?
That's true. That's a good point.
Nah, he ain't having that.
That's a good point. I hope Derrick Rose stays injury free this year.
Yeah, I want my boy to stay healthy, man.
Yeah,
So
I really do. I feel bad for him
next year.
He's had a rough career with injuries and stuff.
Yeah,
He stays healthy. They might be dangerous. They're going to be dangerous.
Oh yeah, I mean he's gonna be coming off the bench, so he'll be running with that second unit. Him, J.R. Smith, Tristan coming off the bench this year. They could be dangerous, man.
Yeah,
Tristan's coming off the bench this year.
Yeah, because they're gonna start Kevin Love
on center.
at center.
Oh, okay.
LeBron's gonna play the 4.
Hey, they overpaid that man.
Yeah.
People talking about Chris Bosh in the finals. I'm like, where was Tristan Thompson?
Tristan Thompson was a ghost.
Yep.
Straight ghost.
Yep.
Most expensive ghost ever.
Yeah, exactly. It really was.
I'm like, they're gonna pay him what?
Well, that's because they had the cap room to do it, And back then,
nobody else offered him no bread, so it was like they kind of had to, and then Draymond Green got the deal, so it kind of forced their hand. Draymond once Draymond got the deal, it was like, hey, you look at the rest of the league and all these other players who aren't as valuable are getting, the same type of money.
Yeah,
you kind of had to sign them for that. Because if somebody would throw an offer sheet out for $100 million, they would have had to match it. So giving them the 84, I think is what they gave him.
Yeah,
it's just like it's a bargain when you can look at what players got this offseason.
Yeah.
It was from Philly.
Russ just signed a deal. He's making $40 million a year.
Yep, that's crazy.
I can tell you this. I don't know which I'm not really into sports with the players' names and all that, but I'm happy the Eagles are winning. They all deserve a raise.
Carson Wentz is a beast.
He's been really good this year.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, the Eagles are playing.
Wentz has been fun. He's been fun to watch, man.
Yeah, he is. He's a great quarterback. Happy for the Eagles. Even though I'm a Redskins fan, I'm still happy for the Eagles, though. So
I'm not going to talk about the Dolphins, man.
No.
Hey, man.
You got coaches doing below now for the Dolphins. What's up with that, E?
I try to tell you, man.
Bro, if you had Jay Cutler as your quarterback, you do below too.
No, but he's snorting a white substance in the locker room. I'm like, damn.
In Miami, that's called blow.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. People are like, oh, how do you know it's cocaine? It's Miami. It's coke. That dude's doing coke.
All right, man. You're trying to get over Jay Cutler.
Jay Cutler is that.
Jay Cutler will ruin your life, man.
Yeah, Jay Cutler is definitely like the living embodiment of that joke. It's all fun and games until someone loses an eye.
Yep.
Like, he's on your team. It's funny for everybody else until he's on your team. It's like, this shit ain't funny anymore.
Yeah, man.
He's
trying to warn people, man.
Worse.
Tried to warn people. I dealt with that for too long, man. That dude is trash.
Garbage.
Kept throwing money at him. Like, oh, he's our guy. He's our guy. Like, y'all ain't add up all them interceptions here.
Leroy Jenkins.
Shit, I can go out there and throw less interceptions. Damn. Give me his salary.
I mean, zero emotion.
Yeah, he don't care about shit, man.
Nope.
You know what I mean? You watch him after the end of the game and they doing this, this press conference or whatever. No emotion in his face. Don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, you threw, 3 pick sixes this game. You know how I feel about it. Just another game. We'll play again next Sunday. We'll have a better game. Like, it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Man?
Yeah.
Adam Gase said it's not time to panic yet. Like,
man, I don't see how. What's your mind? When you gonna start panicking? When the season over with?
As I bet your locker room is panicking.
It is time to panic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he's blaming it on the line.
Yeah.
Of course. You saw the time.
There you go. Let's all right. Let's start putting doubt in their head, and you get a mutiny going.
Yeah.
The craziest part is when you have a trash quarterback like that, it messes up everybody else's money. Yeah, I mean, Jarvis Landry can't be like, oh, I need a better deal. Well,
right.
You ain't put up no yards this year. Well, look at my quarterback.
Right.
Facts.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Well, we're gonna wrap up the podcast, and Clowns, man, thank you for joining us again, man. It's great to have you back on. It's been a while.
Yeah, absolutely. It was good to be on this episode. A lot of great discussions took place.
Yeah, definitely, man.
We had like I said earlier, we had a very interesting discussion with Loot Crate. So,
yes,
very spirited debate.
One day, maybe you could do a Loot Crate roll in your YouTube chat. Like do a Loot Crate thing, exclamation point Loot Crate, and somebody gets something random.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, I could just drop a Loot Crate to the Loot Crate to the live chat.
Yeah, it'd be like, you won hello today.
You want a hello?
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of Loot Crates, we actually this is kind of an early announcement, but we're actually giving away a PlayStation 4 console.
Oh wow, that's fantastic!
Yeah, to one of our listeners, and actually, this is compliments of Chicken Spaghetti, who reached out to us. Great guy, by the way. Yeah, Chicken's just good dude. Good dude. He wants to really make someone's holidays memorable, and so out of the kindness of his heart, he reached out to us and said, "Hey, look, this is what I'm doing, and I'd like to do this on your podcast." So, really an honor that he reached out to us.
Yeah, it's awesome, man.
Yeah, so
that is awesome.
Yeah, so we'll have some details. I mean, we're kind of putting together the rules and stuff, but we'll have some details, shortly next coming weeks. But it looks like the time frame will be, during that Thanksgiving to the holiday time period where we'll, be figuring out how to pick a winner and stuff like that. So just keep an eye out for that. We'll get everything together in terms of contest rules and get that out there for everyone. So, but again, big shout out to Chicken. So, Clowns, man, you want to give Four Guys a quick plug?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, man. Every Thursday, 7 or 7:30 is when we usually start. Four Guys with Quarters on YouTube and pretty much everywhere else. And we just talk about gaming stuff. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of the podcast, man. You guys always put on a great show, and Assassins makes me laugh, man. He's funny, man. Like he's got like this like deep like voice. He's all serious, but he's not kind of, it's just he's funny. He cracks me up.
He's got like a witty, sarcastic, monotone sense of humor too, and it just like shoots right out. It's like sharp and dull at the same exact time.
He was really. Let me tell you something. You said this earlier. Like he really did a great job of breaking down the Loot Crates with Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Oh yes, he did, and it was because we had like a 2-hour conversation in party chat one day, and I was complaining about the Loot Crates in Battlefront 2, and he's like, "No, I'm gonna break it down for you, Clowns. This is how it really is going down."
Yeah,
wow, nice.
Yeah, he's he cracks me up. He cracks me up. But if you haven't done so already, definitely check those guys out on Thursdays and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And then B Money, what's going on with Tick, man?
We'll be on tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come by the channel, check us out, and subscribe to the Patreon. It is up. Seeing a lot of good feedback from that, so definitely check that out as well. Hit the website up, ticgn.com, and check out the network. We got a lot of great shows on there. Iron Lord podcast will be going on Sunday at 11 a.m. Multiverses on Monday. Believe Double XP goes up on Wednesday nights, usually at 7 or 8 Eastern. So. A great slew of content on there, so definitely hit the channel and check us out.
Yeah, I want to give a big shout out to the Iron Lords too. By the way, they've been great supporters of the podcast. They've been on more recently, so big shout out to those guys. And they hooked me up on Xbox with Destiny 2. By the way, they got me in the clan. So so they've been helping me out. I leveled up pretty quickly. Thanks to Lord Addict who's helped me out. So big shout out to those guys.
Yep.
Yeah, E, what's going on with RGM, man?
RGM still moving along. Definitely check out RGM.com. news, updates, reviews, all that good fun stuff. Podcast is on hiatus for a little bit, but should be coming back. And yep, that's about it.
All right. Awesome, man. All right. Well, gentlemen, as always, a pleasure talking video games with you guys. Big shout out to everyone in the live chat. Very spirited debate in the live chat regarding loot crates. But no, thank you for everyone for coming out and joining us tonight. Well, we'll be back next Wednesday at our regularly scheduled time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In the meantime, everyone have a great weekend. Enjoy your time gaming. And we'll see you guys next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We might have Hulk Hogan as a special guest. Peace.